November 5th, Tennessee State Board of Cosmetology meeting's called to order. I'd like to find out how many schools are represented. You'll have someone from each school stand up, please. What school? Paul Mitchell? Miller Mott?
Miller Mott, Clarksville.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll do the roll call, starting with Ms. Huckabee.
June Huckabee, present.
Merle Smith, present. Donna Coppinger, present. Linda Colley, present.
Janet Wormsley, present.
Rufus Hereford, present.
Okay, and at this time, you have the minutes. It's going to take a while if we're going to read these. Now, you say it's impossible to get hard copies sent to us ahead of time. Is that what you said?
Administration had decided a while back to quit sending the hard copies. I don't think that y'all have been getting them since we started the iPads.
Yes, ma'am. Well, yes, ma'am, we have. Only time we didn't get one was last month.
Well, I'll double check, but I had questioned the lady in administration that I talked to about every board and sending the minutes, and she said that we weren't doing it anymore in order to save cost. But if you would like to ask if we can use that for our cost, I can start sending minutes.
If we had them ahead of time, like it's going to take us at least 20 minutes to read these, it would save a tremendous amount of time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think we need the minutes in front of us before a meeting so we can prepare.
Good morning.
How are y'all?
Fine.
I don't really have anything in particular to talk about. I wanted to just come and tell you that things are going well, I believe, and I think that things are starting to run a little more smoothly in the office. We will very, very soon start the official formal process of hiring an executive director for both the Board of Cosmetology and the Board of Barber. My goal is to have someone at least identified prior to the Christmas break and hopefully ready to go. I'm not completely committed to that. It will depend on who, that we find the right person, but we are going to begin aggressively working toward trying to find a reduced small field of candidates. So real quick, I want to say on this, the whole minutes thing, it's very important to the administration that we move toward a more paperless process in everything that we're doing. However, I don't ever want that process to impede any board from doing its business. And if you want paper copies of your minutes, you certainly have every right to have those. We can also email them out to you. We will do whatever you need to get them to you as early as possible so that you do have time to review those and be prepared for your meeting. Sometimes the minutes are just, frankly, I may be speaking out of turn, but sometimes I believe that the minutes, frankly, are just not ready well in advance of the meeting, especially given the current circumstances that we've had in the past 4 weeks with both the Board of Cosmetology and the Board of Barber. Within about 5 weeks' time, we've had 2 cosmetology meetings. We've had a Board of Barbers meeting. We've had an inspectors meeting. And on top of having interim management of both programs. So I will give a little bit of a pass to my staff if the minutes were not prepared in time to get them in advance. We certainly will do that. And anytime you have a question like that or something that you think we can do better, we want to do that. You guys have any other questions? Anything over the past month?
Oh, I do have one question.
Sure.
Is the position for executive director, is that being advertised yet?
It will be very soon,
Okay.
yes. We're finalizing the language and the requirements and things like that, and we should have that published hopefully by the end of the week.
Will it be advertised on the Tennessee.gov website?
It will, yes.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any other questions? Let me ask, just to kind of simplify this, how many on the board have access to email? So it's half and half, so that,
Well, and I think we can certainly do both if that's what you prefer, until as such time that you decide that you don't need a paper copy. I will let the staff figure out the mechanics of getting the paper copy to you in advance. Certainly, I think we can fax it, but if you want the minutes prior to the meeting, we will do everything we can to help make that happen. That's a simple request. So. We had a great inspectors meeting. I had multiple positive comments about that meeting afterward. I got to go down and speak to your group of inspectors, and more than one commented how appreciative they were of what Rachel and the staff were doing, and felt very positive about the future. So I think it's important that the board know that, and we appreciate you. And again, I feel like right now things are going very well. If there's anything we can do for you, do not hesitate to contact me, and we will work on those minutes for you.
thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't ask. Ted Rayner. Just have a seat and
Mr. Rayner is here to make a proposal to the board and get clarification on the rules regarding what sub-shops are required, and I'll let him present in detail. He's provided some documentation, so as soon as you all are ready for him, I'll let him know.
okay.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. My name is Ted Rayner. I'm with the Baker Donaldson Law Firm, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to your group this morning. I had submitted a position paper to Ms. Powers last week. I'm not sure, given the conversation earlier this morning, if it had gotten into your hands or not. It has?
On the iPad.
Oh, now.
Now we're going to read them.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just pause then for a moment
Yes,
to let you
please.
read it? Okay.
Thank you.
Just let me know when you're ready. My name's Ted Rayner, and I'm with the Baker Donaldson Law Firm, and I represent Scott and Lipsy James, who own and operate a European Wax Center in Memphis, Tennessee, Shelby County. And the question that we've brought to the board today is specifically how many sinks are required in a wax-only skincare shop. The establishment that the James operate is a wax-only establishment. They don't do any manicures or facials or hair cutting. It's strictly a waxing specialty shop. So we believe that their operation is governed by the sanitary rules at 440-2.07, and the rule in particular that we want to discuss with you all today is Rule 2A. That's 440-2.07, Rule 2A, and that provides that every skincare shop shall be equipped with at least one sink which provides hot and cold running water in the work area, excluding the bathroom. And as I pointed out in the in my position correspondence, the board's website, as it discusses the requirements of a skincare shop, also provides that a skincare shop must be equipped with at least the following before it can be inspected. It says one sink which provides hot and cold running water, excluding the bathroom, must be in the shop. That's the wording on the website, in the shop. And so, based on the plain reading of the rule, plus the website, we believe that one sink is required in the work area. And I think that's consistent as how the rules address your other context of cosmetology and manicure shops, where there has to be at least one hot and cold sink in the work area. The situation, as I mentioned in my correspondence, that my clients currently face is that when they got ready to open their shop in Memphis, the inspector there required them to install 6 sinks. And at the back of my correspondence, I included a prototype drawing of what the European Wax Center normally looks like. This is a franchised operation, and so as you can imagine, there's a lot of standards. This is a somewhat standard layout that's attached to the back of my correspondence, and this is what the James started with when they began to open up their business in Memphis. And you'll see in the one that I've attached, at least, I've highlighted or put in bold where the sink is, the wash station, and obviously that's a hot and cold sink. But the inspector in Shelby County required them to, instead of installing that sink, to install a sink in each of these little wax rooms, which, if I could draw an analogy, they're like the workstations in a cosmetology shop or a work desk in a manicure shop, the only exception being that there's a doorway on each of these little stations because of privacy, obviously. But that being said, they followed the rules of the inspector, and they installed in their shop in Memphis, they installed, at the inspector's insistence, a sink in 6 rooms, plus the bathroom. So in their shop in Memphis that's open and existing right now, they have 7 sinks, which we believe is beyond what the rules require. And so the reason that becomes relevant and important to them is that they're not only the owner and operator of this shop in Memphis, they're also the developer for this franchise for the state of Tennessee. And they've also opened a shop in Nashville shortly after their Memphis shop, and it has 7 sinks, but they are getting ready. They have 3 or 4 more of these shops in the pipeline at places across the state, and this question of how many sinks you have to have has arisen. And one of the reasons it has arisen is because they're now, this specialty shop has created some interest across the state, and there are a number of other wax-only shops that have opened up, and I listed those in my correspondence. And we have visited or spoken with each of those shop owners, and they tell us that they don't have a sink at every one of their wax stations. In fact, some of them don't even have a door for their individual wax stations, but our prototype does. But what we're seeking clarification is, do we have to have 6 sinks like the inspector in Shelby County has insisted, or is only 1 sink required, similar to what we've shown in the prototype? It would seem fundamentally unfair if my clients have to have 6 sinks just because they have a privacy door, whereas other wax-only shops that may or may not have a door only have 1 sink. And so what we're not asking for any sort of waiver as to what's happened in their shop or the Nashville shop. What we're just asking the board for today is some clarification as to how this rule ought to be interpreted and enforced, and specifically, again, how many sinks have to be in one of these type shops. So if you want to look at the prototype drawing that I've attached to my correspondence, you can see that in the rear of the shop, back there where the office is located, there's a computer station, and that's where the estheticians normally stage themselves to find out who's going to be next for a service treatment. They will then go from that computer station around the corner. They'll go to the wash station, wash their hands, and then put on surgical gloves, and then they will proceed the next few steps into an individual waxing room. So the way this prototype is set up, it's I think a very logical flow, so that the estheticians are visiting a wash station before they begin the process. And again, these are sanitary rules that we're talking about, and the franchise and our operators are clearly focused on running a very sanitary situation.
I have a question, please, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
As you pointed out in 0440-2-7, it says 1 sink which provides hot and cold running water in the workstation excluding the bathroom. Then you said something about on the website.
Yes, ma'am.
Reads differently?
Well, yes, ma'am. On the website, it provides, and I printed out a copy from the website as it was in existence on Friday, November the 1st, and I can share my copy with the board. It says a skin care shop must be equipped with at least the following before it can be inspected. And it seems to summarize the rule. And as it relates to our conversation here, it says 1 sink which provides hot and run cold water, excluding the bathroom, must be in the shop. That's the board's verbiage on its website. And so as Mr. and Mrs. James deal with prospective franchisees, who, of course, are going to come visit the board's website and gather as much information as they can, some confusion has arisen as, why do I have to have 6 sinks?
Do you mind if I look at that, please?
Yes, ma'am. Should I approach you?
Anyone.
Madam Chairman, or-
I'll give it back. I just want to.
You can have it.
You can pull another one up, right?
I'll mail you each your own individual copy.
Thank you.
The last point I'll make is that, and it might seem obvious, but I'll go ahead and make the point that installing 6 sinks is much more expensive than installing one sink. You have the plumbing, you have the fixtures, you have the water heaters, you have extra venting that you have to provide for each sink situation, and so it adds an incremental cost of between $15,000 or $17,000 to the build-out of one of these wax-only salons. And so, you know, in the world of a small business person who's considering to open up one of these shops, $15,000 or $20,000 is a fairly significant amount of money, and it might influence them to either go with the European Wax Center franchise or just go alone, which is, you know, there have been a number, as identified in my correspondence, a number of independent, I'll call them, wax-only shops that have opened up. And so if I'm a prospective franchisee, or I want to open up one of these shops, if I've got to go with European Wax Center with 6 sinks versus being independent with 1 sink, you know, that puts my clients at a distinct disadvantage. And that's the reason we come here respectfully asking for some clarification of this rule.
Ms. Powers, do you have any idea when this might have changed as far as the exact wording?
It sounded like to me that they simply just added, which I'll take a look at it, must be in the shop to the rule.
And they didn't add in that one, like it is in the law book about the blood spill kit.
Right, this is true. And it's still not on the website. That's on that's too bad. I'm not aware of when this changed. I haven't.
Because the only difference is the word "the shop."
Right, must be in the
Yeah,
shop.
it's-
I don't think that must be in the shop goes to the interpretation of how many sinks.
No,
though.
it really has nothing to do with the bearing on the
Right.
decision, but I just was confused that it was changed
Right.
slightly.
I don't have that information.
So really what we're boiling down to is 1 sink, which provides hot and cold running water, and the only difference being that some salons do not have doors. And so, this thing went off on me. Can't stand it when this goes off. Thank you. It boils down to 1 sink with hot and cold running water. Does that cover all of the rooms that have to have a door on it, or is that considered different because they have a door and giving more privacy to the customer? Is that the question?
Seems to me, yes, we're interpreting whether 1 sink in the work area, excluding the bathroom, means every work area or the general work area. I guess my interpretation by looking at it, as I skip down to manicure shop, and it says 1 manicure table with stool or chair per manicurist, it would seem like that section A would say per work area if they wanted you to have 1 sink per work area, but I wasn't sure of the interpretation for the board's history. That's why I
This
brought-
has never come up
Right.
that I'm aware of.
Well,
June?
they don't set up aesthetics shop as a wax area. Typically, yes. And I have a question to Mr. Rayner, Madam Chairman. Oh, the workers that's in the wax shop, are they licensed as estheticians or cosmetologists?
They're estheticians,
Okay.
Ms. Huckabee.
Well, the way I would actually look at that, when it would be set up as everything in the skincare shop, does it have everything that's on that list, that's listed in the...
Yes, ma'am, and as a matter of fact, my
facial
clients,
chairs and- yeah, okay.
when they opened their shop, and they were just recently re-inspected, they scored 100 on both inspections. So their shop contains all of the other items that are listed and required by your rules. And they have followed the rules in good faith, and so they're coming here today not to create problems, but to seek some clarification, because it's going to have an impact to their business and their ability to open up some other high-end salons like this across the state.
It would be definitely in their advantage to get this straightened out immediately before they moved on.
Yes, ma'am. That's why they retained me. And I would point out that in the manicure shop, part of that rule, it also just says one sink in the work area. And so I think what this may come down to is the board's interpretation of what is the work area. Is it the individual workstation where someone's hair is cut or their nails are cut or the wax is applied, or is it the shop? And, you know, this prototype that I've shared with you all is about 20 by 40. It's not, this is not a big, you can tell from the layout, this is not a big shop. And to have 7 sinks in a shop that small, I think is a little bit overkill if what we're talking about is sanitary rules, because we've provided through the prototype, we think, a system that complies with the board's rules. And I also attached a copy of our standard sanitary rules that are handed down to us by the franchisor, and they're very strict, and you can tell that they're very focused on having a highly sanitary environment, because that adds to the experience, which brings your customers back again and again.
Madam Chair, I'm going to direct this to our attorney. As I'm looking on the requirements, like, for example, under manicure shop, you pointed out, it says 1 manicure table with stool and chair per manicurist. And then on down it says 1 sink, which provides hot and cold running water in the work area. And it doesn't say per whatever. So under esthetician, you know, I know we're trying to interpret the work area in this, but it doesn't say 1 sink per esthetician, which would, if it said that, that would be clear cut. You'd have to have so many, you know, sinks, but it says work area. So if, you know, from your interpretation of this law and based on his the layout of the shop, how do you see that as the number of sinks it needs?
I think in manicure shops, you just have one outside sink where the manicures tell you to go and wash your hands. It's not at their station, and then there's a separate restroom with a sink. So if you interpret it the same way that the manicure shop is interpreted, his proposal would be the proper definition. It wouldn't seem like you would need a separate sink. I think the ambiguity comes when he's walling off the separate work areas. And I think that that's a board decision, whether he's allowed to have separate walled off, door closed areas, or with 1 sink excluding the bathroom.
Well, I would like to give my opinion. To me, a waxing salon that has privacy is much better than wide open. I mean, I would feel much more comfortable if I were the client being in a little enclosed area, because you never know what part of your body you're going to get waxed. That didn't come out right, did it? Is there any more discussion? Does anyone have any more questions before we come down to a decision?
Chairman, Madam Chairman, through to legal, do our inspectors have the same interpretation?
They should.
Sounds like.
It seems that there is ambiguity with their interpretation, yeah.
Excuse me, people in the back, we've got several chairs if you want to pull them back there to sit in. Okay?
Madam Chair, can I ask one? I need to clear. This is probably a stupid question, but the sink. What purposes does that sink have?
That's an excellent question, Ms. Coppinger. In actuality, the sink in one of these wax rooms has no purpose. The waxing process that we use, my clients use, does not involve water. And so that has brought forth the irony of the requirement that they have to have a sink in every single one of these rooms when you don't even use it. The sinks that are in Memphis have rarely, if ever, been used. Now, obviously the bathroom and all that, but the individual sink that they were required to put in 6 rooms, they've never been used, because the esthetician, when she comes in, has surgical gloves on and handles the wax with a stick, and there's no water application involved in the process whatsoever. And so I think that we're getting into this what is a work area, and I would point out along those lines that in the wording that exists in the rule, whoever has drafted this they have in their minds, or laid out here in the rule, a difference between a workstation and a work area, and that's embedded in the rule. And the requirement for the sink is in the broader work area. And if the rule if the intent of the board had been, or whoever promulgated these rules, had been that it needed to be in each station, it would say in the workstation, because as Ms. Powers pointed out, there is a reference in the manicure shop part of the rule as to a workstation. So I think that the rule as it's written is fine, but what we may have had is something that's new and has developed in the commerce of the state as to these wax-only salons. But still, we're talking about in the prototype the work area being where the esthetician would go in and out of the rooms. And in the prototype that I've submitted, there's a wash station very close to every single one of those rooms. The farthest one is just a few steps away. So we would submit that the prototype drawing complies with the rule, and we would ask for the board's approval of this prototype as being in compliance, or some guidance.
Mr. Herford?
Ms. Brainer, I have one question. Your prototype calls for one sink based on the 5 stations that you have in this prototype. And so my question, I think you sort of answered it already, but in the future, if your prototypes grow to 40 by 80, et cetera, is this sink requirement going to be the same? Or do you know the answer to that right now?
Well, that's a fair question. If the shop were to grow so large that it perhaps doubled this prototype, then I think in that situation we may end up with 2 work areas.
So right now you're saying that one sink will satisfy the requirement of the 5 stations?
I believe so, and yes, sir, there are actually 6 stations, but I believe that the way this shop is configured in the prototype, that rule would be met.
I think the young lady behind you has some input.
Right now,
What is your name, ma'am?
my name is Lindsay James. I'm the owner and managing partner that is speaking for. Right now, under our franchise law, we are only allowed to build at most a 6-room store.
6 departments, 6 stations.
6 station store.
So the ones in the pipeline that I alluded to earlier are like this, or they may only have 5 stations.
Okay, thank you.
It will be only this big or smaller, in other
Madam
words.
Chairman, we need to keep in mind, he was talking about washing their hands in one place, and they don't need the sink in the room anymore after that. We got to keep in mind that we're opening a skincare shop, not a wax shop. That makes all the difference in what you are, you stay. I understand what you're saying, but it's still aesthetics, skincare instead of a wax. Since we don't have just waxing, it's got to be set up like that. But I was thinking of that when you said they only wash their hands the one time, they put on the gloves, and it's. I think that's probably would have a bearing on it.
Yes, ma'am, I understand what you're saying, and the beauty of this prototype is that if the esthetician, or perhaps the guest, but if someone needed to go wash their hands at some point in the process, very easily done. You're one step away from the wash station versus having a requirement that it be in the room. I don't believe that that's the way the rules were written currently, and I don't think it's the way the rules are publicized on the board's website.
Well, I would like to have everyone, if they have any comment, to make your comment, because we have to make a decision.
I have a comment, Madam
Okay.
Chair. I actually happen to agree with Mr. Rayner that it says work area and it doesn't say workstation. So in my opinion, this layout that he has it exemplifies the work area with the sink, that it says that there needs to be one sink providing hot and cold water. And now that I'm clear on what the purpose of the sink is, I don't see any reason why there should be a sink in every 6 of the stations. I think his layout is sufficient, and it follows our law, unless I'm just not interpreting. But that's my interpretation of this law, that I happen to agree with what he's saying.
Is that a motion?
Not yet, because we may have some other conversation.
Any other conversation?
I have to agree with Ms. Huckabee about that, because I do think you need to wash your hands when you're fooling with each client.
I was just making the comment that it was set up as a skincare shop.
Right.
We're not talking about it being set up as a wax, and I understand where he's coming from, and I'm not making the comment that he needs 6 sinks, but I know that it does say the work area.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Wormsley, the sink is there, and it's in a logical flow for the esthetician to use before the service starts. Ordinarily, once the esthetician walks into the room to begin the service, they never leave the room, and it's completed while they have the surgical gloves on, and they're only using an application stick. And there's a new stick for each application. So there are some that's one reason I included the brand's sanitation rules as one of my attachments, because they're very strict, and they have thought this out very carefully as to how the application process works and is to be used on a uniform basis, with sanitation being first and foremost in their minds.
Are you not going to be doing any other skincare in there, though, other than just wax?
Just wax only, yes, ma'am.
Oh.
No facials or, nails or anything like that.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I think we've got it here in front of us. It shows us that the inspectors are not consistent, all of them being on the same page with their inspections. But, well, it's different areas, so I'm assuming that it's different inspectors.
What is the consensus of the board as to the question as to one sink in this area, or do they have to have more than one sink?
Well, I'd like to make a motion, Madam Chair, that we accept the prototype that Mr. Rayner has presented, and shows one sink in the work area, and that's one sink for the entire shop, excluding the bathroom sink.
Yes, ma'am.
That our law says there should be one sink with hot and cold running water in the work area, and my interpretation is that this prototype is sufficient.
Do I hear a second? Because I'm not going to repeat that motion. It was too long. Any comments? We got to have a yes or no. Second or...
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Herford. Motion's been made by Ms. Coffinger and seconded by Mr. Herford that we accept the layout of one sink in this particular salon layout. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're going to do roll call because y'all aren't cooperating. Okay, we'll start with Mr. Herford. Okay.
Nay. Aye.
No.
No.
I can't vote, can I? Ms. Bowers, I can't vote, can I? No, I cannot. Nays win. Now, is there any way that we can put in writing what made the nay come out? Because this may come up again, and we've got to know exactly why we said nay. What is the explanation of why?
Can I make a comment?
You may.
Under manicure shop, we only require one area sink in manicure shops. And that A is equally written as H is under 3 for manicure shops. So I'm not sure why the interpretation in A under skincare shop would be any different than in H under manicure shop, because every station in a manicure shop does not require a sink.
That was kind of my point a while ago when I pointed that out.
That is true.
I tried to point that out when I was,
So that is never required if you, in any of the manicure shops, even though it's different work areas, it's never required.
No, ma'am.
And also, I'm realizing we're talking about 40 by 20,
About 25 by 35.
7 sinks.
That's what we currently have in Memphis.
That's only 800 square feet.
that's overkill, if you ask me, and it's expensive.
Yeah. Well, actually, it wouldn't be fair to require that in that shop, and then if they're not doing that in the manicure, and it worded the same way.
Plus we
area.
have salons that, waxing things that don't have but one sink already established.
Right. Well, I guess I goofed on that.
Did you want to amend your, do we want to recount this or not?
Whenever you look at that, and we've already got some that's open, already that's got the one sink, and then they are required to have 6 every time they open one, or however many rooms they've got. Manicure don't have to have that. They don't go by calling it a work area.
Probably what might have thrown the inspector off are the doors. And the doors are just a nice thing to have for privacy in this particular practice. So I still think, regardless of door or no door, there's one work area. And there needs to be one sink. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Coppinger.
Does anyone want to rescind their vote at all?
I will.
You want to? All right, we got one over there. Who else? Did I hear someone over here to my right? Did you rescind yours? Ms. Smith? You're going to keep the same?
Today, I'll have to stay.
Okay, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, yay, yes, and 1 nay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We appreciate your time this morning.
Good luck.
But the inspectors needs to
They need to be on the same page.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
It's okay for me to be excused?
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Rayner.
Thank you, Ms. Bowers.
If there are any people in the back, we now have 2 seats in the front. Okay, Catherine Stewart.
Katrina Stewart.
Oh, Katrina, excuse me. Katrina? Ms. Powers, do you know what that was? Is this Katrina, or are you coming to sit? You coming to sit?
Yes, Ms. Stewart actually wanted the board to review her application for examination again, along with her her arrest information. It seems that she checked the box as being a felony, and she feels that her arrests do not warrant a 2-year probationary period. And she wanted to come to the board and present that. She said her charges were not felonies, they were simply misdemeanors, but they were charges, still the same. And she requested the board waive this requirement by looking at her information. Now, she was going to appear to get this, to make a statement on her.
Had we voted on this
charges.
before?
Yes, she was one of the last month's applications for approval, but it was my understanding she was going to come and explain more to the board.
So we'll have to put this off till she appears before us again if she's not here. Okay, moving on. Ms. Holt? Holt.
Markeitha Holt?
What was this one about?
She had wanted to present all of this information on the iPad regarding mobile salons and the rules and laws that different states have regarding mobile salons in efforts to get the board's approval for a mobile salon. And she provided Texas laws and applications, as well as California laws.
Okay, she's not here. Kimberly Kostick? Kimberly? Yes.
My name is Kimberly Kostick, and I do hold a cosmetology license in the state of Tennessee. I have held a cosmetology license for 20 years in the state of Tennessee. I currently work in a salon. I rent a station from an owner of a salon. I'm wanting to expand on a business. Through the years, I've had clients that have asked me if I could provide entertainment purpose spa-like parties for children. And within that, I'm just kind of in the thinking stages of this, and I needed everyone's guidance on this more than anything. Something that would provide no cutting of the hair, no cutting of the nails, no coloring, no waxing, nothing of the sort, just fun experience for girls. And that would be curling their hair, braiding their hair, polishing their nails. I really don't want to do the makeup aspect of it because I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to get into pageantry with children. I don't want to make them into clowns. I just want them to have fun. So I just kind of need guidance on what I need to do to have this approved. And I would actually want to perform those services in either a hotel room or in a residence.
There's an email to me from her under her name on up here before the board explaining also.
Did this come up before?
Something about this hasn't been.
I think a few people recently had made somewhat similar proposals, but I think hers is different in essence as far as going to residences and hotels.
Or soaking the nails, or that.
By meaning soaking the nails, I don't mean soaking off artificial nails, just to cleanse them.
I think that would have to be done in a salon environment.
That was my question. I had seen,
That's my opinion
okay,
regarding Tennessee law.
And she's a licensed cosmetologist.
Right.
I had brought it to the attention that I had seen another company that was providing said services, and I know that they are not licensed cosmetologists, and they are going to homes providing the service, and I just wanted to see what I would need to do the correct way, if anything, to be able to do that.
I'm trying to remember what came up before, Ms. Powers. Can you help me?
If I remember correctly, there was a couple that came in and they owned a party business and they wanted to do party pedicures with some sort of ice cream idea. And everything was edible, maybe? I'm not sure. That's what my
I've seen
memory
that.
says, but I don't.
But they weren't licensed.
Right, but nothing that they did, I don't believe, from my memory, I think nothing that they did was permanent. I don't think that they did hair. I think that they simply put on crowns and maybe pinned in barrettes. That's
And
just
not
my
really
memory. Right. They just would put the kids' feet in a bowl of fizzy ice cream type something. Is that what your memory is?
Right, it was not pedicures.
Y'all it might trigger something by me telling you that. That's just what my recollection is.
I just remember it had something to do with some kind of ice cream or something. Yeah.
Pursuant, the legal perspective on this is that my legal opinion is mobile salons aren't allowed in Tennessee, but they're.
I cannot hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Are you Ms. Holt? Yes. We'll come back to you. As far as mobile salons are not approved, but exceptions would be under a couple of exception rules, and I think that that's in home health facilities, funeral homes, I think photography studios, under the exception. So I'm not sure that this would fall in any of those things.
That was actually going to be a future goal of mine for a mobile unit, and I do understand that there are a lot more things now that go into that. I know that it has to be rendered immobile, and that's something that I will come back for another time. I know that's a whole other story. But pretty much right now what I was wanting to accomplish was to actually provide not actual cosmetology services, but entertainment for birthday parties, sweet 16s. I'm talking just putting nail polish on, no sloughing of skin, no, nothing like that.
Your email says you might have pictures about what you're trying to.
That was for the mobile unit.
Oh, okay.
And as far as the other, I would not be able to provide anything because I have not started the business, because I'm not going to start a business that I'm not approved for. But basically, it would just be setting up inside the owner's residence or hotel room, whatever they would want, a table that's just fun for girls. I mean, just to make them feel like they're kind of at a spa.
Ms. Kimberly, you do have a salon.
I do not own my own salon. I rent a station from a salon.
Okay, well, this, what you're asking for would have to be done in a salon environment,
Okay.
registered salon.
Okay.
Licensed,
Okay.
to my opinion.
Is there any more questions, discussion?
May I ask one more question? I'm
Yes, ma'am.
sorry.
You may.
The people that advertise that they actually go to a church or a facility to do hair for weddings, how do you get approval for that as well?
That's a very good question. Because all stylists go to their clients at church, and that has never come up. But it happens constantly, because you practice ahead of time, then you go to the church and do the procedure. It's never been brought up, it's never been questioned.
Madam Chairman, there's a difference in advertising for it or something than doing it for your,
And they don't shampoo at the church.
No.
They just
No.
do the hair.
Yes.
I think that is completely different. That's more or less like a privately person that's servicing someone at the church on a special day.
But it's still not in a cosmetology shop, so that, I mean, is that,
I think that may fall under the 624125 Section F exception, which has to do with photographic sessions or similar activities. If it's for a wedding, it's probably for a photography session, so it's a similar activity. I think that's where that would fall into. That's my interpretation.
Where's that?
It's under 624126, number 2F. 2 provides the exceptions for
Gotcha.
practicing cosmetology outside of shop.
Thank you. Was there any more discussion on Kimberly's request?
So are we going to disregard that last paragraph? She's talking about a mobile unit?
Now, you're not talking mobile right now,
Is that
No,
for another
ma'am.
time?
ma'am?
I said that would be for another time.
if I could ask, if, as far as the mobile unit, if I were to open, if I wanted to start a business with providing the services that I just mentioned, would I then still also have to have what is required of to open a salon? One stylist chair, one shampoo bowl, okay. So to do party services,
Right.
okay. Okay,
stationary. I mean, it has to be.
okay.
But not in a mobile unit,
No,
at any time.
no.
I know you've got here that when you reach your destination, it's not mobile, but that don't mean that you can do that.
Right.
So she's saying that she would like to get our opinion on going to a location, combing their hair, braiding their hair, polishing their fingernails. Can she do that legally as a cosmetologist?
And
Yes.
we told it would have to be a registered salon environment.
Well, I've only heard opinion from one person. No one's talking to me. I need some more input.
Madam Chair, I agree with Ms. Smith that she's a licensed cosmetologist, and, I mean, trying to limit services to say that you can do them outside of a salon, that's a little, I don't know, it's a little ambiguous to me. So I feel that a licensed cosmetologist, whatever services she's going to provide, she does need to be in a licensed shop to provide those services.
Any other questions? Any other discussion? If not, I need a motion for continue.
Madam Chairman, I put that in the form of a motion, that what she's asking for needs to be in the environment of a licensed cosmetology shop, stationary cosmetology shop.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Coppinger. Motion made by Ms. Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried. Thank you for coming before us.
Thank you for taking me.
We appreciate you coming. Ms. Holt. Yeah, scroll back.
I think there's quite a bit of information, but basically I starred the walls, and then
And when we go to do amenities and what, that's not considered a mobile salon.
right, no, nothing exception.
Nursing home, whatever, that's not considered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Bowers.
Yes, Ms. Holt is here to discuss mobile salons, and she also has presented some other state laws and how they regulate mobile salons. Texas is on your iPad, as well as some Texas forms, FAQs, and then California is as well. And I will let her begin.
I'm sorry, I have some other stuff I redone what I gave you.
Okay.
And I would like to give everyone a folder that they can see.
I'd like to say good morning to the board. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right. Okay, like she said, Ms. Holly said that I would like to present mobile salon issues in the state of Tennessee. The first page that you see, we have salon on wheels. And also the next page, which talks about mobile things that are going on in the state of Tennessee, which are their laws, were our laws in the state of Tennessee. We started a mobile union as far as food, which I have set up here. We have the state of Tennessee, we have food, we have medical, we also have different vendors for food trucks. We have this rolling arcade in the state of Tennessee right now. And we also have a coffee mobile. I'm pretty sure everybody loves coffee. And coffee, where you just pull up and get your coffee, Starbucks, like a Starbucks store. We also have in the state of Tennessee, we have pet mobile. We also have numbers of different mobile things. Can everybody see this?
No.
Okay, I'd like to go on to the next page, which says mobile cosmetology salon. Most asked questions about starting a mobile salon, which would, questions are, I have a mobile cosmetology salon. May I provide service inside a person's home? Next question, how can a mobile salon be inspected if it moves around? Is everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Must the mobile salon have hot or cold water? What happens if the mobile salon runs out of portable fresh water during a business day? Is there any other than the mobile salon license needed in order to operate mobile cosmetology salon? What does self-contained mean in regard of a mobile salon? Does a mobile salon have to be self-contained? Is a mobile barber salon required to have a restroom? Does a mobile salon need a different equipment than a cosmetology salon in a fixed location? Okay, we're going to start with the first question. I have a mobile salon. May I provide service inside a person's home? No. The rules that govern most mobile salons do not allow services to be performed outside the mobile salon or while the salon is in motion. How can a mobile salon be inspected if it moves around? The mobile salon must be equipped with a global positioning system that can be tracked by the TDLR at all times. The owner of the mobile salon must submit a weekly itinerary every 7 days before a salon begins to provide service for that week. Violations will be written to the mobile salon owner if the mobile salon is not where the itinerary indicates. Must a mobile salon have hot or cold running water? Yes. Must like all other cosmetology salons. The mobile salon must have hot and cold running water at all times. What happens if the mobile salon runs out of portable fresh water during a business day? The salon must discontinue operation until the fresh water holding tank has been refilled. Is there anything other than the mobile salon license needed in order to operate a mobile cosmetology salon? TDLR does not require any other license to own a mobile salon. However, anyone considering a mobile salon should research the cities in which they intend to offer services to find out whether they would need any additional type of city permit to offer services. An owner must also be responsible to see that any cosmetologist who is employed in or rents a mobile salon is properly licensed. Then it talks about the cosmetology rules required that owner keeps a list of renters along with their license information in the unit. What does self-contained mean regarding to a mobile salon? Cosmetology rules says define self-contained as containing within itself all that is necessary to be able to operate without connecting to an outside utility such as water and electricity. Does a mobile salon have to be self-contained? Yes. The mobile salon must be able to operate without having to connect to any outside utilities. Is a mobile barber salon required to have a restroom? Yes. There must be a restroom with self-contained flush toilet inside the mobile salon. Does the mobile salon need different equipment than a cosmetology salon in a fixed location? Flip the page, please. No. A mobile salon uses the same type of equipment as any other salon. However, there are additional requirements for a mobile salon. Some of these are the furniture must be anchored to the mobile unit. Chemicals must be stored in cabinets with safety catches. No part of the mobile unit can be used for living, sleeping quarters. Licensing, I renewed my license online weeks ago, but do not receive yet. What should I do? My license has expired. How do we have the renewal of the license? Okay, the next page.
Ma'am, may I ask you a question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
It says, what does self-contained mean in regards to mobile salon? Then it says cosmetology rule. Where'd you find that rule?
Okay, the rule, ma'am, which is further on back, and it's all the regulations, but we will get to that.
No. In our book, where is that rule?
No, ma'am, it's not. I'm just referencing Texas.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am. These are all Texas right now that I'm going over right now.
all right, let's move on fast,
Okay,
please.
thank you, ma'am. Okay, that's what I was saying. Cosmetology mobile salon licenses. This is in the state of Texas. There's a fee that they charge is $106, which I feel that having a mobile salon in the state of Tennessee would be very beneficial as far as income. It would revenue more money for the state of Tennessee. And also on this application, it talks about put your business name, normal days and business hours that you will be operating the mobile unit, your permanent address, a physical address, also where the mobile unit will be sitting at when it's not in motion. Also, too, you have to have a global positioning system in the unit. And also, you have to show an itinerary. And at the bottom, it states if you want to be limited partnership or sole priority. You can flip to the next page, please. And also, too, it talks about additional corporation, if you want to do a corporation, whatnot, and required salon licenses and that you have to sign. And then the next following page shows you itinerary, which will tell you where the mobile salon will be stationed at and where it goes throughout the day, along with the mobile GPS system, so you'll know where the salon will be. And if you would flip the next page, please, which talks about Texas Department of Licenses and Regulations, all the requirements for the salon, as far as how everything needs to be in place as far as the mobile salon unit. We'll do so if we approve it for the state of Tennessee. Talks about the sinks and hot water, also towels, the wet disinfected soapy container, the clean fresh towels, and just as well as regular salon, covering your trash can, your license, where they should be stored because they have to be there at all times in the mobile unit. A copy of the logbook needs to be as well in the mobile unit as well. And also too, if you go to the next page, please. Additional requirements and specialties, if permitted and due in the state of Tennessee. If this is approved, you can open up a beauty salon, a manicure salon, braiding, manicure esthetician, wig salon, facial salon, hair weaving, and braiding as well. And then the next page is, you will see, these are all the state of Tennessee regulations. The state of Tennessee, everything that you have to do as board, as we have now. These are all the regulations. Everyone has one in each folder. And on the back part, if everybody flip over, they talk about the complaints that you have. And then also as well, state of California, here are some of their regulations that I have listed as well. And also to, back to my board, mobile salon, state of Tennessee. Why can't we have a mobile salon? We have other mobile things in the state of Tennessee. So the question is, why can't we have? And my final closing is, I went to see Representative Jim Gatto this past last week, and he gave me a highly recommendation as far as starting a mobile unit in the state of Tennessee. Everybody at that page? Look to that page. Okay, to whom it may concern, I have met with Ms. Louisa Hope to discuss the issue of starting a mobile salon in the state of Tennessee. After looking over her extensive research, I respectfully request that the Board of Cosmetology approve this proposal. In my opinion, with the proper regulations, it could have a very profound impact on the state's economic climate. It will help stimulate small business growth and employment, as well as reaching a potential undeserved market in the personal care industry. The state already recognizes several other mobile businesses that are thriving in our state and helping to revitalize our economy. Again, I would wholeheartedly support this whole proposal and recommend the board's approval.
Okay, Madam Chair, could I ask our attorney a question? Wouldn't changing our laws and rules about a mobile unit have to go through legislation?
It would. It seems that she's asking the board to approve a mobile salon if regulations were instituted by the legislature, per Mr. Gotto's letter.
Excuse me, could I say one thing? Also, too, those rules and regulations can be adopted from other states.
Well, I can see that his letters, his letter is a recommendation that he agrees with it, but I still think that the process of changing anything like that in the state of Tennessee needs to go through legislation. Somebody needs to present a bill, and then it needs to go through the routes like that, because it's a pretty big change. We haven't allowed that forever, have we, in the state of Tennessee?
We don't have that license that Texas has.
Right. I think she's. I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong. She's wanting the board to move that they would approve if we had the proper rules and regulations, a mobile salon regulation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Madam Chairman, in my understanding, that something as important as this needs to come from the board as a whole to be presented to the legislature if we think we need it. That's just
And also, too,
what I've always
there's
done.
been additional revenue for the state of Tennessee. It would bring more income.
Would you state again what she is wanting from the board?
I think she's requesting that the board vote to approve regulation of mobile salons and licensing of mobile salons. I think that that's what she's wanting. If Tennessee had the proper regulations, the board would be in favor of a mobile salon. I think that that's what she's asking for. I think that's completely up to you all to vote and say, I would not be for it, or I would be for it completely if we could properly regulate them. Leaving the legislators their job of writing the regulations.
And we would have to come up with many more regulations on how to control the situation.
Right, there would have to be statutory changes, and further rules would have to be enacted in order to do that. And I think this is where, when we as a board advise individuals to go see their legislator, and I think that we had advised her in the past to go see her legislature to see what they could do. This is what she's done, and now she's bringing the proposal back to you all to see what your opinion is on it.
When did we advise her that? I guess
That was in August.
August. Yes, okay. Mine was a little, I couldn't remember that.
I didn't remember that.
So you brought it before the board in August?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I didn't get the person's name per
You
se.
presented it?
Yes, ma'am. I presented it, and they
Not
told
with
me
this information.
I didn't come up with the facts that I have now. I presented the idea, and I was told that if I could come back and present it to the front of the board, other states, how they started theirs, so on,
Who did you speak to, ma'am?
I didn't get her name. She was right in this area where you are, it's two ladies. They talked about it and told me to come back. And actually, I posted, I got my dates mixed up, and that's when I went to see Miss Powers. Remember, I came to your office, and I missed,
Oh, last month you came a day late.
yeah, because the following week.
A week late,
Came back
okay.
from- Yes, ma'am.
Well, Madam Chair, I mean, she's made a great presentation,
Thank you.
but I just feel like I don't feel comfortable in saying, oh, great, this is great, yes, we approve it, or whatever, before there's been legislation brought, to say exactly what it's going to be. I don't know, it seems like we're going backwards about this. A rep or a state senator, to change any kind of law like this, they have to present a bill, and it has to be specific about, what everything.
Mr. Gatto said that due to the fact of, as long as the board approves it, that it can be done. And he told me if I have any problem to, reference back to him.
I don't think that she's requesting you approve her open a mobile salon in no way, form, or fashion. I think she's requesting your.
I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
You want to.
She is.
Yes, ma'am, for the state of Tennessee, for everyone.
Well, and let me finish my statement. I think that in order to get this process started, you're requesting that the board approve that mobile salons, the idea of mobile salons could be regulated, and they would approve a bill, maybe, if that's what Mr. Gatto presented. There's no way that the board can approve you to open a mobile salon because it's in violation of the laws and rules.
Yeah.
As an
There you
attorney, that is.
Madam Chairman.
Thank you, that's what I was.
This is constitutes.
That's
We cannot do one thing.
But my thing is, those
37,
rules,
page
that's
37,
in there,
number
those
7.
rules that they're looking at, they are almost 10 years old, and they have not been updated. So, my thing is, they can be updated, and the mobile unit can be wrote and put into a new, a new book, because they're old. They're almost 10 years old, and they've been saying, and everyone just been following up with the same thing every year.
Well, to get a rule change, you have to go through legislation, and it's a different process. We can't approve anything, so, and it's clearly stated here in our rules, and if you want to check,
I know
zero,
it says, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to.
okay,
Yes, ma'am,
all
I know
right,
it says it now.
okay, that, we don't have that in the state of Tennessee,
It
so.
would be a great thing, economic-wise. I mean, it would
Madam
generate
Chairman,
more money.
at this
for
point,
the
I think we
citizens.
need to take no action on this today. I make that in the form of motion.
Do I hear a second?
Is she wanting our opinion
Well, we
on
can't
it?
legally do that on camera. Our laws today, we can.
I think that until more formally presented a proposal by a legislature, maybe Ms. Coppinger was saying that they don't want to make a statement as to their position on mobile salons. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's right, that's what I'm.
So I second the
All right,
motion.
motion made by Ms.
That's
Smith,
what I
seconded
mean.
by Ms.
Take no
Coppinger.
action.
What was your
Take
wording?
no action.
No, take no action. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Okay, are we going to have another meeting, pertaining to that, or?
I'm gonna vote no today.
Thank you, that's what we're saying.
Well, okay, I just wanna be plain.
Yes, sir.
Is that no to,
Take no action.
Well, I think you're saying no, you're not in favor of this idea. Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
Oh, okay.
at this point, I'm not, honestly. I mean, we're bringing a lot before the board would, I would think, take months of consideration personally.
Absolutely.
well, one thing, it can't be, there's no way to inspect. You don't know where they're gonna
Yes,
be.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it is, you can reside, the unit at your residence if you have, prohibited, space for it, and, that's where we track that, yes, ma'am, and that's where the GPS system, is in place, which you have to have in the mobile unit, and also, as well, that's what the itinerary is for, so you know, of tracking where the unit will be at.
But these details are not important at the moment because we don't have that in the state.
Okay, those regulations, in here from the state of Tennessee, they can be adopted by the state of Texas, can be adopted from Tennessee. All of them are in there, in your packets.
Ms. Powers, can I make another motion?
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion that based on, and we're here as a board to uphold the laws and the rules of cosmetology, and that's what we have to go by. And 0440-2-7, and then it's under number 7. A cosmetology, skincare, natural hairstylist, or manicure shop located in a mobile home or mobile unit will not be approved for a license unless it is placed on a permanent foundation and otherwise rendered immobile. So, based on Tennessee's cosmetology law, I say that we deny your request for a mobile cosmetology unit.
Okay.
That's
Just a minute. Second? Is that a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you may say something now. We really have a motion on the floor. Let me get this.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion made by Ms. Cooper, second by Ms. Smith. That I'm not going to repeat the law because she's already read the law, that we deny you a mobile salon. All in favor say aye.
Deny our request, yes.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried. Now you missed me, I'm sorry.
So basically, you're telling me that, those laws cannot be updated when they keep generating over and over.
Through legislation, the laws can be changed, but not here at the board.
Okay.
But we're not in favor of it today.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Before we go into the administrative report, can we take a quick break?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, is that where we are?
It would be a station.
Administrator dash attorney?
Yes, the administrative report, it's just right after approval for the board. We're starting with, for approval of an application for a change of a cosmetology school name. Love Beauty School is applying to change the school name to Love Beauty School, Inc. We need a motion to approve.
Do I hear a motion to approve, to move it to Inc.?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Smith, seconded by? Seconded by? Mr. Herbert.
I'll second.
All right,
We're just
Mr.
changing
Herbert.
the name.
That's just
Yes.
Inc. All in
I
favor, say
assume their
aye.
corporate papers are in order, don't you?
I'm assuming they are.
Surely
They are all
or they wouldn't
attached
be.
for your review.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes, carried.
Okay. Next, we have applications for examination. We have Elaine Morris, Amy Smith, Charles Webb, Annetta Beisel-Site. Excuse me if that pronunciation is wrong. Esther Franklin, Shannon Agnew, Crystal Wolf.
Request for examination.
Yes, and these are all felony applicants requesting their application for examination be approved by the board.
And all written things saying that
All
everything's-
their written information is included as well as their recommendation letters. Seven.
I make a motion that we accept with a signed agreed order from our attorney.
A second.
Motion's made that we, by Ms. Coppinger, seconded by Ms. Smith, that we accept with a signed order by our attorney. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes, carried.
Next, we have seminar extension requests. There are three of these, the first one being Teresa Smith. She was due to attend in 2012. She's requesting to extend to 2013. I'm sorry, first is Dorothy Morris. My list is backwards. She was due to attend in 2009. She's requesting a second look at her instructor's information because it was removed at the March 4th, 2000 board meeting, and she faxed a letter which provides information as to her request. It's attached.
A letter, but no doctors. But she was due to go in 9.
Right. And it was removed in 2011. She's requesting permission to go to extra seminars until she's satisfied the continuing education requirements. She is apparently working and in college.
She states that she was unaware that she needed to go to instructor seminar.
That's what it looks like, yes.
And she's been licensed since 88.
Yes. But that may not be cosmetology license since 88. I'm sorry, instructor license since 88.
Because there she reapplied, see?
Right. It looks like she became an instructor in 2009, so she maybe never knew she had to do continuing education. Right, yes. The board office always sends letters when you renew, letting you know if you're due for your continuing education.
I make a motion that we deny her request for extension.
Second.
Motion's made by Ms. Coopinger, seconded by Ms. Smith, that we deny. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes, carried.
Next, we have Sheena Denise Feltz. Ms. Feltz was due to go in 2012. She is requesting to extend until 2013 due to health issues. And she has provided an email as well as a dental note. Regarding dental issues. I'll let you read that.
Is that for this year?
Yes. She was supposed to go this year, and she's requesting an extension to next year.
And we do have the dentist
Yes, the dentist knows right
equal
behind.
to a doctor's, yeah. Since she, Madam Chairman, since she has the dentist statement and about her disease and all, I make a motion that we do accept until 1 year, 13.
Second. Motion made by Ms. Smith, second by Ms. Coopinger, that we accept her extension to 2013. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes carry. I have one statement to make sure she understands. It says, where, was I reading this?
She must go.
I am not certain when these were held and where. I know she must have known that, but she needs to be more aware of that. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Last is Teresa Smith. She was due to go in 2012. She's requesting to extend to 2013. And Miss Smith has provided a doctor's note.
Please excuse her for one day.
I saw that. It's- It was dated August 13th, and I had to go back to work the 14th, that one day.
Our symposium
Oh,
in Nashville was in July. Am I correct?
I'm not sure.
I went, I should know. And that was
June,
the,
July, and August.
yeah, and that was the last, or was it in August? Maybe it's August.
August is the last one, yeah. Here.
Right, but this was, I wish I knew that exact date. Does anyone remember what date in August?
It's usually the second weekend. Well, I'm gonna say let's give her the benefit of a doubt. I hate to do it. If she can come up with better doctors or sickness, for this, we'll give her a month. My feeling would be, I would like to, if she can come up with different from that one day on there. Because she could have gone. We will reconsider. Give her a month if she can come up with some different doctor. The doctor's excuse.
Is that a motion, Ms. Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Motion made by Ms. Smith that you request that she come up with more information on the medical, especially more details on the date of the symposium compared to when this doctor's
By
was
the
written.
December meeting.
All right, do I hear a second? Second by Ms. Huckabee. My brain just went dead, I'm sorry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Next, we have reciprocity applications. Let that go by.
Good, you're right.
I'm sorry. We'll start on reciprocity applications.
Okay.
First, we have Joanna Siaway. Miss Siaway attended the University of Liberia and graduated. She was previously presented to the board, and the board requested proof of her education, and she has provided that. I believe attachments are her transcript and information on the University of Liberia, as well as her, I think it's a diploma of some sort.
She got that in 2009.
Yes, ma'am. She does not have a 5-year work history. She's requesting reciprocity through her hours per her transcript.
And this is natural hairstyling, correct?
Yes,
Or is this cosmetologist?
natural hairstylist.
Okay. I'm assuming this is assumption, that they take a test in Liberia? I'm trying to see if it says on this.
She said she just got her license in January of 12.
9.
Well, look over here, going over. When she wrote Miss Morrison, Catherine Morrison, Department.
Right, Miss Catherine is our reciprocity technician.
Okay.
That's another person.
You've gone.
Oh, it is? Oh, I was going by Joanna. I'm sorry.
So you've gone to hers.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's not a name in
I'm
between these
sorry.
two. My apologies.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this one ends
Thank
at
you.
page 9.
So it boils down to, do we accept reciprocity or do we require exam?
Have we already made a ruling on this?
No, the board requested her return with information on her curriculum. Per the letter that Ms. Waller sent on July 30th, 2012, I've attached that for you all's review.
Did you receive a copy of her license? Or is
That is her license.
that's her
That is
license?
her license.
Okay.
Looking to see if they had anything about
It says she has passed all examinations and on the license.
I would assume that they do have an examination.
I do now.
I'm looking at
But it said 2009.
Right.
She don't, that way she would have a work history. I moved that she set for a big thing.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's made by Ms. Huckabee and seconded by Ms. Smith that she sit for the Tennessee Natural Hairstyling Exam. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Next is Joanne Valerie Stack. Miss Stack went to cosmetology school in Montana and then moved to North Carolina where she couldn't find employment, so now she is moving to Tennessee. And she has provided her North Carolina certification as well as her Montana certification. In Montana, she was certified by exam, and in North Carolina, she was certified by reciprocity from Montana.
And it's for esthetician.
Yes.
How many hours does Montana require, do you know?
Very
650.
She's got 660 on.
It says Montana for esthetician 650.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
650. So that's 100,
And then, yeah. She also includes her 660 diploma, right? Her diploma, which provides she attained 660 hours in Montana.
She just licensed in January in
Right.
Montana.
Yes, she does not have a 5-year work history. That is why it's before you all.
Any discussion? She's got 600 hours in esthetician. No, 650 hours for
660.
60.
She has 660, yeah.
Well, the state requires 650.
And then she's,
And she has passed the NIC written and practical examinations in Montana.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that she take the Tennessee exam.
Okay, motion's made by Ms. Smith and seconded by Ms. Wormsley that she sit for the Tennessee exam. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Next, we have Leanne Rampula. She is an applicant from New Jersey. She graduated with 1,000 hours in 2002. She's included her New Jersey certification, which provides her passage of a written and practical and the scores thereon, with 1,000 hours of training at a vocational school.
That's not marked. What is she asking for? What license?
Cosmetology.
Cosmetology.
It's on the certification, cosmetology hairstyle. Sorry.
She didn't provide any work history?
No, ma'am. She did not have that.
does she has a license in New Jersey?
Yes.
What is their requirement for cosmetology?
1,000.
I think it's 1,000, but I'm not sure. Right here's for me, so I'll double check. Actually, the NIC book says New Jersey's requirement is 1,200 hours. So
Well, it shows on this,
this could be, the version I have of the NIC book is 2010, so it's possible that New Jersey has downgraded their requirement since she tested, or it could be that she's been licensed in 2002, that it's changed since she was licensed, and that could be the reason for discrepancy.
we could do reciprocity easily if she provide 5-year work history.
Well, 1,200 hours is all that, right, she has been contacted and she has no 5-year work history.
Okay, thank you.
And it shows 1,000 hours, don't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Madam Chairman, she needs 500 hours. Needs to go to school 500 hours in Tennessee to comply with Tennessee law
And sit for the exam.
and sit for the exam.
Motion?
I motion.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Smith, second by Ms. Coopinger. She attend 500 more hours in school and then sit for the Tennessee exam. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Next, we have Yvonne Harris. Miss Harris is from North Carolina. She is applying to be an esthetician via reciprocity. She obtained her North Carolina license, She went to school in North Carolina, but she has a Pennsylvania certification where she took the test via examination to be an esthetician. And she has provided certificates of aesthetics from North Carolina. I believe she went to school in North Carolina. She also provided her transcript, which shows her hours.
But only 650 and no 5 years.
Right, and I'm not sure if the transcript shows different amount of hours.
Which state's her license from?
Her certification is from Pennsylvania, but it looks like she went to school in North Carolina.
And this is Yvonne Harris we're looking at.
Yes, Yvonne Harris.
What's the Texas thing?
Well, Texas has got cosmetology.
Shampoo apprentice.
Shampoo apprentice.
Right, she also is a shampoo apprentice, but she's applying to be an esthetician. I think she's just showing all of the information she has to show her education. And she also provides her educational history and additional certificates. Total.
Look, he's coming from. He just popped up there.
Yeah.
Tell him to go away. Go away.
Can you decipher how many hours she has?
Give me 1 minute.
Okay.
So she got her education or certificate in North Carolina at a community college.
It looks like her transcript says she got 425.6 actual hours. Right. And then she provides a second transcript which shows an additional 16 hours in North Carolina. So that's 41. I don't see the full 650 that she says she has because it's not provided on a transcript. But she does provide an educational history to try to clear that up, but this doesn't really tell me that much.
She got her license in Pennsylvania by examination. They required her to take an exam.
Yes, that's correct.
That's where an institution on that sheet that it says Pennsylvania licensing requirements is
300?
300
hours.
Yeah.
For an institution.
But she provides us evidence of 441. Oh, that is right.
441.
Although her application does say 650, so, but I don't see where that's provided in documentation.
Excuse me, when did she start her schooling?
Well, she had a shampoo tech license, which I would have thought would have been first, but that was later. She was originally licensed in Pennsylvania in 2006, so I would assume before 2006.
She's not gonna meet the 7-year requirement anyway, is she?
Fine.
Let's just say 2012. And that's just for Tennessee
Well, she only has
education.
600 hours, right?
Right. I think that law applies to education obtained within our school for our certificates. Does that make sense? You have to finish within 7 years from your start date.
Right, and that's my question,
In
when
our
did she start?
I'm not aware that we apply that to reciprocity applicants because they're already licensed in another state. The reciprocity rules don't provide that they have to have their education within 7 years. Simply if they have a license in another state and the board is of the opinion that they meet our law substantially, they can approve them. So if the board was of the opinion that 441 hours met the reciprocity requirements, they could approve her since she's licensed in another state. Does that make sense?
No.
If she got them in 6, can she give us the 5 years work history?
She does not have that.
Okay,
We requested she could not provide. This is everything she provided.
I'm looking at the one that shows her total hours. It says actual hours, 425.
And then 16,
60.
she found.
Right, and then there's 16 on a separate transcript from
Okay, for
RCCC. Right.
So, I'm sorry, but what license did she actually have?
Esthetician, and it looks like she also has a shampoo cosmetology
How
tech
many-
license from Texas.
She got that license with 600 hours, is that what we're saying?
I'm not sure why she provided the Texas cosmetologist license. I think she probably just wanted to show her additional licensing. She's simply applying for an esthetician license in Tennessee.
But back up there, now that's a shampoo apprenticeship from that Texas cosmetologist. She said, but it was out, expired April the 5th of 12.
Right, I don't even think that it's probably relevant to this application.
She has, as far as we have documentation, she has 441 hours
Yes.
toward esthetician. So I make a motion that she take an additional 309 hours and take the Tennessee exam.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Cooper, seconded by Ms. Smith, that she attend 309 hours and sit for the Tennessee exam. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried. Thanks.
Getting restless.
Next, we have Darlene Snodgrass. Ms. Snodgrass went to cosmetology school in Virginia and obtained 600 hours. She's an esthetician, and she obtained her license by examination. She also provides a letter stating why she can't fully prove her 5-year work history and is requesting that the board allow her to obtain the Tennessee license without completing additional education. And that letter is included. Darlene Snodgrass. Aesthetics, yes ma'am.
She just, initial license was in 11, it says. And they expired 13, yeah. 600 hours.
Right, and she's showing a 5-year work history, and she makes a statement that the reason she's missing 1 year is because of a tornado, I believe.
But it says initial license date, 8/24/11. She couldn't have a 5-year work history.
That's true. But she does provide a...
She's done other kind of work.
Right. She provides her W-2s.
And she states that she does not want to go back to school for 150 more hours. She's quite aware of that. She's really aware that we require 750 hours and she only has 600. She doesn't want to go back to school for 150 hours.
She states that, yes.
Yes, she does. Well, I make a motion she go back to school for 150 hours and take the Tennessee exam.
I'll second.
Ms. Goldinger, is that you?
Yes.
You're the chair now, you can't make a motion.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion?
Well, I make a motion that she go back to school for 150 hours.
Okay, Ms. Smith makes a motion that she go back to school for 150 hours and take the Tennessee exam. Seconded it by Ms. Wormsley. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes carry.
I mean, it's just long. It's not because we wanted to.
She doesn't want to.
She was very honest in her presentation.
Well, tell her we appreciate it.
Okay, next we have Jennifer Connors. Miss Connors is applying to be a cosmetologist via reciprocity from Massachusetts. She obtained 1,000 hours in 2004, and her certification is included. She attempted to show some of her work history through a letter as well as W-2s, but she is saying she can't provide full work history because loss of information. I'll let you review all the information.
Well, originally issued was in A.
Right. She took the exam in 2004.
On that 1,000 hours.
Yes.
Well, I'm just reading over that date originally issued, 2008.
There's no way she could have the work history in 5 years.
That's what I'm saying.
She didn't have the 5 hours.
What's a manager cosmetologist?
What is a manager cosmetologist?
That's what her license is.
Let's see if we have
Oh, it says her first license was issued in '04,
Right.
and then the manager's license was issued in '08.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Right, Massachusetts only requires 1,000 hours.
Do I hear a motion?
Madam Chairman, she needs 500 more hours.
Is that a motion, Ms. Smith?
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that she go back to school for 500 hours and sit for Tennessee exam.
All right, Ms. Smith makes a motion that she take an additional 500 hours and take the Tennessee exam. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Ms. Huckabee. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes carried.
Next is Huok Wynn. Mr. Wynn is applying to be a manicurist from Florida. He has attached his Florida certification for a full specialist. Florida actually licensed manicurists and estheticians together, so when we look at these full specialists, it's for both. He attaches somewhat of the work history with various different documents. It looks like he owned a nail salon and provides his EIN letter to show his ownership for the year 2012. Additionally, he provides a 2011 tax documents, 2010 tax documents, and then that's all. The Florida certification for,
Well, this is coming from Florida.
yes.
wasn't licensed until at 10, was he?
What's the
That's
breakdown of that full specialist just for manicures? Isn't there a breakdown?
Let's see if they have a full specialist. On here it says 500 hours as a specialist. There's no state board exam required, and they're licensed to practice one of the specialties under the law. My understanding is that full specialist allows you to practice aesthetics and manicuring.
But I think there's a breakdown of like 240 and 260 or, I can't remember it.
Short of how many hours?
Right, it's nail tech is 240 and esthetician is 260.
Okay.
So he only has 260 in nails.
240.
240.
I make a motion that he take an additional 360 hours, is that right? And take the Tennessee manicurist exam.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Coopinger, second by Ms. Smith, that he attend 360 more hours and then sit for the Tennessee exam. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Next we have Brittany Mincy. Brittany is applying to be an esthetician. She has a South Carolina certification which certifies 450 hours but shows she completed 630 hours and took the exam. She also attaches her transcript which shows the 630 hours. Then she has attended Tennessee Tech in Nashville and completed an additional 124 hours, which puts her at the 750 hourly requirement. 751 maybe, just 1 hour. No, 4 hours over.
Has she taken an exam?
No. Oh, wait, yes, she took an exam in South Carolina. It's on her certification.
And that was when?
2011. January 2011.
I move that she set for the exam.
Second.
Motion's made by Ms. Huckabee, second by Ms. Smith, that she sit for the Tennessee exam. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Next, we have Hannah Dalbigan. Hannah is applying to be an esthetician. She is attached her state certification, which provides, I'm sorry, is it a certification? Yes. Yes, which provides for 600 hours. You multiply the number by 30 pursuant to the state certification. But she also provides certifications that show that she's completed 650 hours. 750 hours, I'm sorry. And those are attached. And she did send her original certifications into the board office if you all would like to see those originals. These are just the scanned copies. So she has the 750 hours in certificates.
And she took an exam and was licensed in 5/11.
That was her original.
Right. She meets the hourly requirements.
She does.
She does, yes.
I move she set for the exam.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Huckabee, second by Ms. Coppinger, that she sit for the Tennessee exam. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Can I get clarification? When the individuals meet the hourly requirements, but they're coming from a state, when we say sit for the Tennessee exam, are you all wanting them to sit for the full exam, not just the Tennessee law portion?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Does all these not come before us?
All of them? No.
Right.
The board has previously given approval that if they meet the requirements substantially, then they don't all come before, because there's hundreds of reciprocity applications.
So all the ones that come before us, I
Are
mean,
questionable.
there's no 5-year work history we're going to see because they would have already said, you know.
Right.
taking care of that in the office. If it's clear cut and there's no question about it, they approve it in the office.
Correct.
Yeah, because we'd be here for weeks.
We have to be careful about a lot of these, though.
Oh, absolutely, yes. They're being reviewed by many eyes.
Well, sometimes you hear word on the street that they're working when they're not qualified.
Next, we have Lisa Tran. Miss Tran is applying for reciprocity to be a manicurist from Georgia. She was originally licensed in 2011, and the Georgia certification provides 525 hours.
She's short. No work history, and she's short a few hours.
Okay, we've had these before.
We don't typically request work history if they've only been licensed for a few years.
Because they weren't doing good. Any discussion? Do I hear a motion? She's short 75.
I'll make a motion she take an additional 75 hours and take the Tennessee manicurist exam.
Motion made by Ms. Coppinger and seconded by Ms. Wormsley. She attends 75 more hours and then sit for the Tennessee exam. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Okay. Lastly, we have Ben Bowie. You all had requested at last month's meeting that I bring additional information regarding the Georgia Cosmetology apprentice laws, and we tabled this application for that such reason. So pursuant to his certification, he obtained his license as a cosmetologist via an apprenticeship, and it requires 1,500 credit hours. Now, he has stated he has obtained 3,000 apprentice hours. He has obtained 3,062 apprentice hours. The apprentice law provides that an application for examination is provided to an individual who has obtained a high school diploma or GED diploma or post-secondary education college degree. The applicant has to obtain 17 years old and is of good moral character, has completed an apprenticeship in a beauty shop or beauty salon for at least 3,000 hours and has passed both a written and practical exam by the board. And the apprenticeship must be completed within 2 years. For the cosmetologists, their minimum monthly hours are 18 months for the 3,000 hours.
But it did not give you any information about the particular salons or...
Yes, the salon provides that here I'll read it so it's more clear. Apprentice records have to be maintained. A weekly worksheet is completed and signed by the apprentice and the salon shop owner or manager, and the training master shall be kept for each apprentice, indicating the number of hours in training in each subject. The worksheet has to be subtotaled quarterly and is subject to review by the Georgia State Board for inspection at any time. The salon shop owner and manager has to maintain these records on each apprentice for at least 5 years. And if they change salons or master cosmetologists, then they have to have a notarized transcript of their total hours accumulated, signed by both shops and the transferring shop, and it has to be submitted within 30 days of the change. And their certification has to be provided in order for them to test in Georgia. And their curriculum hours are set out as well if you're interested in what hours they require. They have to do cold and heat wave shampoo for 3 hours, chemical relaxers for a minimum of 2 hours, bleaching for 2.5, shampoo, set and comb out for 1.5, facials for 1, brow and lash tint for 30 minutes, color other than bleach for 2 hours, 1 haircut for 45 minutes, 1 shampoo for 15, 1 arch for 15, a temporary rinse and color for 45, a scalp treatment for 1 hour, pedicure for 1 hour, manicure for 1 hour, a set of sculptured nails for 3 hours, and their weekly worksheet. I think this is per week, what this is set out. So these are their weekly hour requirements. And they have the right to refuse attending classes for more than 8 hours in a day.
Do they have classroom hours?
No. It's 3,000 apprentice hours for the apprenticeship license, although they do have to take and pass a test.
So the hours that you were calling off is what they
Do on a
give
weekly
them.
basis,
They give
yes.
them for doing that particular thing.
Yes, that's the breakdown.
And they can either do the apprentice or the school hours.
Yes.
This sounds like it's just working in the salon.
Right, and
I'm just thinking out loud.
it seems
For
to me,
apprentice.
it seems to me that they're required to work under a master cosmetologist in a salon and obtain hours set forth pursuant to the breakdown. And they have to submit to the board on a weekly basis this transcript via their master cosmetologist and the salon, the hours that they're completing. And that they must complete the 13,000 hours 3,000 hours within the 18 months time period. Any questions about that information?
No, but if it's all apprentice, in the past, we haven't accepted any apprenticeship hours.
Yeah, that's a different way to be certified though. See,
But he chose to be certified through apprentice.
So he doesn't have that. He just has the 3,000 hours. See. Right, right. Shops have to have permits to provide apprenticeship hours. You have to be an approved apprenticeship shop. You can't just go to any and every shop in order to get
And
this.
that was my question.
Yeah.
Yes, uh-huh.
Yeah, because it sounds just like a HIPAA myself.
Right, because they have to report the hours like schools have to report hours to us, so these shops have to report their apprentice information. to their
Registered with the
board
state
office.
of Georgia.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, just as a review, we had previously tabled this application in order for me to present the apprentice information to you all. So,
It's all apprentice hours.
yes.
I make a motion that we deny his request for reciprocity based on all of his hours are apprenticeship hours that we don't recognize in the state of Tennessee.
Motion made by Ms. Coppinger, seconded by Ms. Huckabee, that we deny because they're apprenticeship hours. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Weak ayes covered.
I'm sorry?
I said weak ayes passed.
Okay. Now we are on to miscellaneous requests. First miscellaneous request is by Mickey Goodman. Miss Goodman's license expired in 2007. She is requesting that the board reinstate her license without taking the practical test. She'd like to take the written test. She is under disability. She's provided a letter and a doctor's note detailing the information. And she also had requested to appear here today, but because of her physical health conditions, she could not appear. So she would like to take the written exam, but she would like the board to waive the practical because of her disability. So that's her request. And I'll let you all review her letters.
Well, that's part of it.
How is she gonna work if, I mean, I'm just asking the question to us.
I think she's working on recovery, but she wants to maintain her license activities, so.
Well, that's part of the process of
Right.
getting a license.
Right. And her letter states that she doesn't intend to remain disabled. She's worked with her illness, and she's determined she's determined that she will be able to work again. Unfortunately, she failed to renew her license, and she wasn't sure how she missed the renewal notice. And I asked her if she wanted the board to consider waiving the exam. That I'd be more than happy to prove it. It's up to you all. And she's still disabled. I believe she's on disability. And
How long was she licensed?
she wasn't. She says.
How many years?
She was first licensed in 1991.
And it expired since
2007.
2007.
And she knows she's
5 years.
Right. She knows she's supposed to retest, but because of her disability, she can't retest. And if you scroll over her letters are attached.
No.
She would like to take the practical part of the retesting. She just I'm sorry, she just can't she would like to take the theory part of the retesting. She just can't take the practical pursuant to her disability. She also provided a doctor's note.
But she's been released to drive.
I mean, I can feel for her. I've got somebody right now that would like to do the very same thing. But, I know I told her to present it because that was part of it. But we'd be doing this for the favor. I mean, we'd like to do that, but I still would be doing her a favor even to let her take the exam. It hasn't been that long.
Right.
Uh-huh. I mean, I have faith in, and understand that. I know. Yeah.
Her condition is chronic and inherited.
Well, I think if she has a license, she needs to be able to use her license, and she needs to be able to take the entire test. I make a motion that we deny her request, and she has to take the entire test.
Motion made by Ms. Cooper, we deny the request. Do I hear a second? Second by Ms. Huckabee. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Next, we have Princess Sanders. Miss Sanders appeared last month. She's a student currently enrolled in courses, and she had requested an extension for 592 hours of instruction be extended per the 7-year requirement. She was taking care of her father, and we requested she provide a doctor's note, and she has done so.
What was she was wanting an extension? Or-
Yes, of her school hours, so they didn't expire. She's currently enrolled, and she's intending to complete them soon. I think the last time she presented her completion date would be sometime next spring if you extended her hours.
Yeah,
From
because she
April.
had to take care of her mother,
Right, her father. I believe.
father, excuse me.
Yeah, and she's provided the document.
Right.
I make a motion that we accept.
Motion made by Ms. Cooper, second by Ms. Wormsley, that we accept. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Next, we have a cosmetology license applicant requesting waiver of the 6-month rule, 04401.10, which they have to apply for their license within 6 months of the testing, otherwise they have to retest. He provides information that he was in an outdoor discipleship program, which prevented him from meeting the 6-month requirement. I believe there's a few letters from a few different people in his family which explain this program that you all reviewed. So he's already tested and passed. He just doesn't have to retest. There's quite a bit of information on, I'm sorry, quite a bit of letters. And I provided his testing information as well.
What was it he didn't do? He didn't pay for his license? Or-
The rule states that if you don't apply to get your license within 6 months of your testing date, you have to retest. It's kind of, my understanding of this is to keep people from passing and then waiting 10 years or so to test, or waiting so long that maybe their education wouldn't make sense or something of that nature. So he just has missed the 6-month requirement. I believe he tested, he was tested in February of 2012, I think. So it's just been over the 6 months.
When in 12, did you say?
February 22nd.
I'm still reading this letter.
Well, Madam Chairman, since it's been just those few months, my feeling is, and if he's entered this program for rehab and everything, maybe it would be beneficial if we gave him a benefit of that and extended his time for.
Okay, Ms. Smith made a motion.
I make the motion.
Because of the circumstances, that we allow that small extension. Do I hear a second?
Do we need to give him a time limit on his extension?
That'd probably be a good idea.
That'd be a good idea. I didn't think of that. I'm sorry.
What's your time limit, Ms. Smith?
Within the next 3 months.
3 months? Okay, so the motion's been amended to...
1 month? 1 month. Madam Chairman,
Yes.
1 month, please.
Okay, it's
I'm
been
sorry.
amended. Ms. Smith amended the time limit to being 1 month.
1 month,
From today's date?
right.
From today's date. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I'll say.
Thank you.
Mr. Herford seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
And you'll contact him to let him know that?
Yes, we send letters.
Okay.
That is, if he can get a test date.
Yeah, that's the...
Well, he won't have to retest.
No, he just-
No, that's right. All he has to do
Okay.
is send in his money.
You're right.
Fill out the application.
That's the easy way.
You have his tent address?
So funny.
Okay, now we have some other requests. Most of these are field trip approvals, but the first one is a workshop approval for 2013. Now, excuse me if I'm wrong for doing it like this. I'm just not aware of how this has been done in the past, so please give me guidance if I've done this wrong. Miss Christina Perkins from TSU has provided a workshop detail proposal for the 2013 instructor seminar and is requesting approval of this. And I've attached her email.
Madam Chairman, through to legal, we have worked hard for years to get our 3, what the state offers, our 3 seminars in colleges on campus.
Okay.
And that's all we have been approving.
Okay. So as far as the subject matter, you all don't mind, just as long as they're in a college on a campus.
That's what we've been, I'm just speaking.
We do mind. We want to control.
Okay, so you do want to approve these requests? Yes. Okay.
The ones that are held in
No,
our
ma'am.
seminars.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
She has got one planned. Oh,
Right.
Go back over there.
So she is requesting that this workshop approval be approved for the 2013 instructor seminar. And she provides details of what the seminar is going to be about. Team building and high-impact teaching skills and presentation techniques. I, in my opinion, would believe that the topic and the time and the place all needed to be approved by the board.
And she is who and from where?
Christina Perkins from TSU.
Do we have a copy of that on our?
Yes, it is. It's under.
Okay. TSU is one of the colleges that they have been.
That's
Yes.
it's this email. It's an email to me.
And I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
No, it's
TSU.
okay. I'm not used to this type of.
But we need to see it. You know,
Yes,
yeah.
it's attached.
Everything about it. She's done got it.
You're right.
Goodness.
You're behind. You're on Oxford Fan.
So there's only 2 courses in the 2-day?
Well, now, I didn't do it.
That's
It just was.
Is that Andrea Perkins?
Yeah. Miss Perkins. Is that who you usually work with, Linda?
Perkins, yes, ma'am.
At TSU, Miss
Yes, ma'am.
Perkins. Okay. And I'm sorry I asked because I didn't understand the name and where.
No, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm new at this.
Well, I'm trying to find out what she's requesting.
She said she had the seminar.
She's requesting the seminar approval for this seminar that she's provided the detailed in the email on the iPad.
Madam Chair, could I address Elizabeth Pierce on this issue?
Yeah.
I can't approve what you're saying, but since I do this on a 16, 17-year basis for the board, all of the regions have to submit to you approval. It has to follow the law of stating what the hours are, what the area of content is, who the presenter is, how long the classes are. They have to name the 2-hour break situation. You have to see a schedule. You have to see the content of information. It must follow the guidelines, which is in the law, not in the room hearing. Must follow those areas. 16 hours, a minimum of 16 hours in training, not just the total, because you can't count your break unless that is part of the lesson. And yes, we can send it to you by email. I think sometimes you want a presentation to ask who is going to be there and what's going to be contained. But we can send it. But you were asking for, you want to know who it is, what the time schedule is, what the hours that are accrued, the break times, because you have to follow the law that is stated in the law book, and those areas have to be. And yes, you can do effective teacher training in 2 days. There are suggested topics that it must cover, but you could actually have a 2-day seminar that only had to do with teacher motivation. And as teachers, we all know the motivation and probably a year's worth would cover us a whole lot. But just pertaining to that, I'm just stating that it comes from, yes, it's went into a university, it's very much so, because you may have someone that comes along like I did, and I had to retest many years ago because the previous private person, after the seminar was over, all of the records disappeared. So that was one reason that it went into the university's hands so that there would be a tracking information. When it was under private ownership, yes, that was exactly what happened. And I was one of those candidates in 1987 that had to retest, but if I'm a good teacher, I shouldn't mind to retest. You know?
Well, you're right, Miss Pierce.
But that's what I know about that, okay?
And another thing, we don't endorse a product
Yeah.
within a topic, like if it's nails or something, we don't endorse, or any kind of perm or anything like that.
But you can receive it like this, you know, if you so choose. We have the choice of either sending it in, but there's no trade industry selling a product or a promotional product. Okay?
Another thing, this is one time that we probably need the paper copy
Right.
of this to see it.
Right.
See?
And, I'm sorry, you're Miss Perkins?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Miss Pierce.
Okay. So,
I have a question. What is she asking our approval on?
she's requesting approval of this being her proposed program.
For the instructors?
Yes.
A program for the state. They do it, and also Shelby County area has also done it. But I don't know what you're looking at per se, but yes, they have seen it, yes, they have presented.
But now this is where it usually takes place up here in Avon campus, Avon Williams campus, I'm sorry.
My question is, we've always done My Lady.
Uh-huh, I know.
Is she wanting to change this? Where did this come about?
She gave me a call and said she wanted to propose the 2013 instructor seminar information, and I said, I'm not sure how that's done. You need to send me a written request, and I'll take it before the board.
Well, let me explain what's happened. We've had this now 3 years. First 2 years, we did phase 1 with My Lady. And then they're working towards their master. And then last year, we did phase 2, which that should go on for next year, so that, because they go every other year. And people are really working towards getting their master degree in My Lady training.
Okay.
And I think we need to have an explanation why they would want to change this when people are purposely working towards this.
So,
Yeah, that's what I was
that's my understanding, yes, that she does this.
This lady does the seminar?
No, she is the lady over here full-time that just organizes.
Organized.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry. I was just going to go back with her and ask her to provide, you know, if this is circled around the lady, phase 2, you're saying?
Maybe we
And
need to
then-
have her come
And I'm
in.
concerned
Right,
with,
and then
and
request
also,
additional hours on, you know, really a breakdown besides content, presenters, links, breaks. She needs to present a more detailed proposal of
Yeah.
what she wants to do.
Oh, yeah, the one we get from UT is detailed down to, you know, the entire schedule.
Yes, everything.
And that's how we can approve it, when we're looking at exactly what's going to take place.
And also, we have made there's been a motion before, that some of the board members, it's instructors or our educator, be with whoever puts that together.
Part of the
They're
plan.
part of the planning, they don't do it themselves, and certainly Memphis has been going ahead sometimes, and that they need to, they shouldn't be able to do
Yes, she's
that.
on.
3 years ago, the policy of the board, and we followed it pretty strictly per se. Your advisory committee must contain farmer, must contain cosmetologists, must contain school owners, must contain educators, and must have advisory from both boards. And that's what was requested, because the seminars in the past have been cosmetology and barbering. And I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I do know what I have to, we're having a meeting next month. Okay? It'll be our roundtable discussion, we've been through emails and such in the last 2 weeks like that. But it is required that we have people within the educational realm from the University of Tennessee. We have a food vendor that always is there because we serve food at the symposium, and we want it to be correct. But from the board about 3 years ago, it was required that we have professionals from the area of cosmetology and barbering on the board if possible, okay, of our committee board. Not just one person makes the committee, okay?
Yeah, right.
Not one
Yeah,
person
now that's what's
makes-
happened, yeah, that's what's happened in the past.
When you're
Not
saying, not saying, okay, when you say somebody needs to get it all together, that they're not allowed to do it on an individual basis.
That's exactly right.
So it needs
This
to
sounds like
include
this
the
lady
meeting
wants
of
to go,
these people.
yeah, sounds like she wants to go ahead and get this together without consulting with some of the boards, some of the other professional people.
Right.
That, what I'm saying, it has happened in the past. it continued to happen whenever we asked for it to be done another way, and also, I'm talking about in Nashville and Memphis.
Okay.
Another quick,
So
another.
that she needs to have an advisory committee that includes a barber, cosmetologist, an educational individual, and an instructor, and anything else. I just want to be clear on my advisement back. And where they should be doing an educational, the seminar should be about phase 2 of the Milady.
No, that's what we have started. I just don't know why she was wanting to
Oh,
change.
okay, and find out.
But it's very important that we find out who the facilitator or instructor is, because who presents it has a lot to do with the content, has a lot to do with, but how it's presented is one of the key things.
And one meeting don't do it, does it, Elizabeth? A minimum of how many does East Tennessee?
Well, we have one total organized together right after the seminar we have, because we repeat it every 2 years because you have people that
Right.
were here previous year. There's basically 2.
Basically two are saying where they all could get together, and sometimes they might not all get together or be there, from each department.
But the finalization will happen
Yeah,
next month.
okay.
I'm not an instructor, but I've sat through several seminars, and to me, it's repeating the same, in years past, repeating the same thing that they already know what they would know in cosmetology, not instructors. And it would be, to me, you wouldn't get anything out of it, and that's why I guess probably made the motion that we have some of sitting on the board that's instructors that not necessarily work as an instructor now. We have an educator. She would be helpful in teaching the teachers instead of just growing the perm or doing a haircut necessarily. There's other things. And then, of course, Mr. Herford, he would be good on that.
Because there's so many problems
Sure,
now out
there
there
is.
between some students, as we all know. There's a lot of problems.
Well, you would think that
See?
if your instructors are supposed to attend these seminars, they would know to attend and not have to request an extension of their.
Well, thank you. This is what we've been trying to get through for years. And we can't, because see, some of them, they lose their teaching license. And of course, there's a need for good teachers. There's a need for it. I know that. And, but
know-
you see, we still got them today.
Well, as she was mentioning, communicating, you don't have to come together 5 times, but you
Right.
need to communicate
Yeah.
so that you know what you're going to accomplish when you do meet.
Okay. Can
Now,
I
I
have a
always-
motion
I
to
always attend this one.
table this to get additional information, more detailed presentation, and, a committee? so
Wouldn't
they
she
can-
need to come?
I think that she's going to need to get a bunch of people together and provide a whole bunch more additional information before she does anything.
Or to try to tell us what she means by this right here and why,
Okay.
beforehand.
So let's have a motion, we table this till Ms.
Well,
Powers
I
gets
make a
more.
motion, we table it till we
Okay.
can get other things worked out from her, Ms. Perkins.
Second. Motion made by Ms. Smith, second by Ms. Cooper, that we table until Ms. Powers can get more information. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Sorry about that. I'm really. Okay. Now this next one is a field trip approval. Now I have quite a few field trip approvals, and I need clarification from you all if you would like every field trip approval to come to you all for approval, or if it's within the exact curriculum, if the board office has authority to approve it. Now, I understand if it looks like it's something that's in the curriculum, it should probably be approved, but these I just wasn't sure of, and if I'm not sure,
I think beforehand we had said for them to come before the board.
okay.
Unless it was, now, we did let Ms. Waller make a judgment if it was a definite, has to do cosmetology field trip.
Yeah, that was my understanding.
What is this?
This is Volunteer Beauty College, Volunteer Beauty Academy in Dyersburg's field trip approval for Student Talk Student Competition 2012. And she provided these flyers that detailed the information. So let's see. Styling competition on mannequins, it seems like. Nails, hair, rollers, that sort of thing.
Well, this is definitely cosmetology related.
But over there, that's questions to us about this?
No, those are later. This,
Okay.
just these 3 pages are with regards to
Okay,
the
well, it's
filter.
got this, okay, these 3 things.
Just these 3 student talk pages.
It's more or less like a student competition.
Right.
Where will it be held?
Looks
Is
like
that
this
Memphis?
is, right, this is a
Marion?
retroactive approval.
East?
Because I told them I couldn't give them approval in advance and they didn't request it until after.
This is Monday, October 29th.
Right, it's already happened, so this is retroactive approval. And there's a few of those, and I told them in advance that because I couldn't approve them and they didn't present them to me before time, that it's retroactive approval, they have the risk of the hours not being approved.
That's right.
So they're just waiting to see if we'll
Right.
accept the hours.
Do I hear any discussion or motion whether to approve?
Well, whether or not we approve it or not, it should have been, the request should have been sent in due time, where we could
I
have seen
think
it.
because of the fact that Ms. Waller wasn't there to approve cosmetology-related things, like instantaneously, school's gotten to the habit of sending these things the week or so before they happened. And I've tried to, let them know that I hadn't yet gotten approval to approve everything, and thus it would have to be retroactive.
Well, regardless of when, who or what.
Right.
It needs to come in time.
Right.
For you to review it and to see, whether or not.
Well, they're holding the hours till we approve it.
Right, they are. They're holding the hours until it's approved.
I make a motion that we accept.
Motion been made by Ms. Coopinger, seconded by Ms. Wormsley, that we accept. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Now, none of the other ones I'm about to go through are on the iPads. If you go back to page 172, they're on the other requests list. Second is Virginia College School of Business and Beauty. They are requesting to take their students to research different salons in the county as part of their job search model. And that was simply their request as a field trip. So they're just going to go to different salons in the county to aid in a job search model.
Any discussion, motion?
Aid in a job search model.
They want to take the students to different salons throughout the county to aid in job search model. That's all she gave me.
Well, I personally think it's part of the educational process.
Yeah.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Motion made by Ms. Herford that we accept that field trip. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coopinger. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes carried.
Now I have a third field trip approval for seniors and juniors to take a field trip to a Brazilian blowout class at Hotel Preston in Nashville. They'll also be going to the State Beauty Supply in order to learn more about products they don't use in their schools.
Now, that Brazilian blowout has been taken off the market, right? damaging?
I'm not,
I know.
okay.
Wait a minute, there's a comment back there.
It's back.
Oh,
It's back.
excuse me.
The ingredient that is made has been changed. Sorry.
excuse
Then
me.
it is back.
And the GK system could be another.
So this is an educational.
I wasn't aware of that, that he'd been brought back.
I wasn't either.
And you know.
It is an ingredient, kind of like DNA.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh, okay.
Do I hear a motion we accept or deny?
Go back over, please,
They're-
ma'am.
They are taking the seniors and juniors to a Brazilian blowout class at Hotel Preston in Nashville, and they're also going to the State Beauty Supply in Nashville in order to teach the students about products that aren't used in the school.
That aren't used in the school.
Right.
And who is this?
Love Beauty School. Inc. They just changed their
Just
name
changed the
today.
name. Right. Well, I guess the same procedure would follow, the same policy that Mr. Herford made the motion.
Is that a motion? I'm trying to get you guys to make some motions.
I know.
You want to make that motion again?
Honey, I don't know a lot about Brazilian blowout.
What is the,
You woke me up. Ma'am,
okay, somebody, okay. It's the straightening, it's the straightening, and it was bad, you know, and they say it's come back now.
well, the ingredient was
The
not good for you.
ingredient, yeah, was bad.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Cooper, motion made by Ms. Huckabee, seconded by Ms. Cooper, that we accept. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Okay. The next is a similar request from Volunteer Beauty Academy in Madison that the instructors visit the State Beauty Supply to allow their students to learn more about the hair care products not used in their school.
Do I hear a ditto? Ms. Huckabee?
Ditto.
Ms. Huckabee made the motion, ditto, we accept, seconded by Ms. Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Okay, last, for students to visit Helix Hair Academy for an advanced haircutting class and Obagi training from Sandra Academy.
Is that a motion?
I have no idea what it is, and that's all the information they have.
I don't know what it is.
It's training.
It's training.
Oh. I make a motion we accept.
Motion made by Ms. Cooper, seconded by Ms. Smith. We accept. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Lovely. Now, we only have 3 questions for the board. This is the last page under the administrative report. And first is the school student hour daily maximum. A school franchise, and this, you just have the little bit about the student daily maximum. A school franchise has contacted the board office requesting clarification on 0440-1.037, which, and TCA 624120B. Basically, it's the, I'm sorry, it's
25.
From the
okay. So it's the rule. The question. Hold on, let me get my bearings. I apologize. First, when we look at the law, it's about opening schools, 624120B, which states that an application submitted to the board has to be accompanied by, number 4 states the enrollment agreement providing that students attend a minimum of 25 hours per week. Then, if you look at this 0440.03 section 7, it lists that barber students enrolled in a cosmetology school can only go a minimum of 6 hours and a maximum of 8 hours. This school is proposing a 3-day, 10-hour program. Pursuant to 162.4120, it would seem to me as a legal counsel to advise them that as long as their students are going a minimum of 25 hours a week, that the board doesn't restrict if they go 8 hours or 10 hours a day. But then when you go and look at Rule 0440.037, it looks like the board does restrict number of students from going a minimum of 6 hours and a maximum of 8 hours a day, and they wanted clarification to that because they were looking into doing a 3-day, 10-hour-a-week program as a school curriculum, getting 3 days, 10 hours a day, and that being their program. They do this in various other states, and in order to apply to Tennessee, they wanted to get their package together, but they didn't want to create a 10-hour-a-day curriculum if the board wasn't going to approve it. So they wanted the board's approval in advance, that 10 hours a day would be okay. Per the statute, it seems that it would be okay, but then you go and look at the rule, and if a barber's, it seems like it wouldn't be allowed for a barber. Do y'all have any thoughts, comments?
Could I ask if either one of you instructors or what would make a comment? Would you, or school? 8 hours a day is what it is. Right.
No, the law doesn't specifically state that in the statute. It simply says that under a barber, under 0440.07.
Where's the law?
The law is 624120, number 3. Under section.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Several years ago, I wish I could remember when, was when Mr. Adcock was here. We had a ruling that you could get up 48 hours, didn't matter how many hours per day, as long as they didn't go over 48 hours. Now, we'd have to look up in the minutes to find out when. It's been several years ago, though. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Well, then, get it to us.
So is there you said that there's been a previous holding on this?
Yes.
Excuse me, don't you have to attend at least 36 weeks to, I know it is for probation.
I don't think that's a legal requirement.
Could you email her a copy? All right, you'll get a copy of that, and then maybe we can bring that up next month when we have more information on the ruling we've done before. But it's been a couple years.
Okay. Now, I have a handout for you all.
Surely not. But back to this, it says in no event shall a student attend more than 8 hours.
Which section are you
That's
on?
on page 16. Number C. I know what we did back then, but it's
Well, in my interpretation of this, in no event shall a student attend school for more than 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, meaning they can't attend, over 48 hours in a week. And I think that that's what Ms. Colley was referring to, meaning you can't go and cram in 24 hours a day every day in order to quicken your education because nobody's going to take all that in. So that went into part of their question is, can they get 10 hours a day, 3 days a week, as opposed to...
That's what came up.
Right.
A couple of years ago, and that's when we decided that 48 hours period, however you wanted to do it.
So as long as you get as long as you get 48 hours in a week.
No more.
Okay. So,
Because
you
some
want me to
people-
double check the minutes
You
before
would
I
not,
go
she's
to-
going to send you information.
Okay.
When it happened to Brent,
Yeah.
and who did it?
The reason we did that, there were some students that they could get babysitters and say do 10 hours a day instead of 8 hours a day. And financially and with their other work, it worked out better. And that's when we were just 48 hours a week max.
Mr. Herford, does any of your students go more than 8 hours a day?
We, as far as accreditation is concerned, you know, a full-time student is considered 30 hours a week and a part-time 15. But you can go up to 40 hours a week. So that would be 5 days a day, that's 40 hours. That's what we do. Sure.
So what I'll do is I'll table this, answering this question, look into the minutes. If the minutes give me a clear answer, then I'll go ahead and provide the answer.
And when she faxes that to you or emails it to you, it will give you a date where you can look the minutes up.
Okay. And then if there's a clear answer, then I'll go ahead and answer them and just let you all know next meeting. If it's not clear to me, I'll bring it back up to you.
Okay.
Okay. This is not on your iPads, but this is a question that I have regarding the board's policy of transfer hours. This is very old, September of 1996. And there is not a law or rule on it, and it's my understanding that this is board policy. My question, being as a legal question, is this statement down at the bottom: a student may not transfer the same hours more than once. This doesn't really make sense to me, because if I get 300-hour general hours on my cosmetology license, then why should I ever need to go back and get those additional 300 hours if I know how to do it and I've kept my license active? Does that make sense?
I think they're saying different schools. In other words, if you transfer 300 hours to my school and 300 to the next school and you still don't have your quota, can you transfer those hours again? That's the way I'm taking that.
I think every school can know that you have 300 hours, just as long as you've gone those 300 hours and passed. My question is, if you want let's just say that you want to be a natural hairstylist, an esthetician, and a cosmetologist, why couldn't, because you've already got your cosmetology license, you transfer those 150 hours to 2 different licenses? The way it's being interpreted right now is that you couldn't use those general education hours towards natural hairstylist if you had already used them towards esthetician, and that doesn't make sense. Because you can't transfer the hours more than once, it wouldn't make sense to not be able to transfer general hours, especially if you're currently licensed and practicing.
And they're trying to get multi-license, so.
Right. So
I agree with you.
my question is approval to retract the policy that they can't transfer hours more than once.
I'd agree, that doesn't make sense. Do I hear a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Herford makes a motion that we remove the,
Retract that.
All, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Huckabee, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Thank you. Third, the board office is currently processing, and you all are reviewing reciprocity applications before a fee is ever paid. Therefore, if a reciprocity application is requested additional hours or requested to test, and that person decides they don't even want to do that, they just wanted to see if they can apply and test, we've done all that processing without a fee. So we would like to add a rule into the rules that we have started to require the fee to be non-refundable, payable at the time of application. Because we feel like the board office is doing a whole lot of work, you all are doing a whole lot of work by reviewing these, and these people aren't even paying their fees. They don't pay the fee until they're approved right now. So we're requesting to create a rule that the fee not be non-refundable.
So when they're requesting reciprocity, they have to pay a fee, and then they run the risk that they may not
Right.
be granted reciprocity?
Right.
What's the fee?
$50. It's already being processed regardless. The problem is, we're doing all the processing, and then if they aren't approved, sometimes they never apply to test, or they never complete the hours, and so the board's done all this review, the office has done all this review, and they've never even paid a fee.
You think that will cut down on the number of reciprocity requests we have?
I'm not sure. But I do think that it would help, it would help, financially, the board office and the board, and additionally, as many of these as we do process, I think that it would deter people from reapplying if their application has been waiting, or, things of that matter.
If we did this, we'd have enough money to mail out minutes.
There you go.
Okay, for instance, like we asked somebody to go back 75 hours and then test, that's what you're saying, that when they get that information, that what we want them to do, then that would probably be the end of it?
Possibly.
But you have already charged them for this.
That would be the change.
Right.
Right now, we don't charge them
Right,
until
but I'm saying that's
yes.
what you want to do.
Yes, make the reciprocity fee upfront and non-refundable.
I think that's a good idea, and you could explain to people, make sure you know what our reciprocity laws and rules are. Take a look at them, and then, if you don't meet Tennessee requirements, most likely, and it's not going to happen for you. You've got to have a 5-year work history, or you've got to, meet the requirements of hours. We don't accept apprenticeship hours, and if they feel confident that they can meet reciprocity, then they'll pay the fee, and, I make a motion that we do that. We implement a fee for reciprocity up front.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion made by Ms. Coppinger, seconded by Ms. Herfer, that we put a $50 upfront fee on reciprocity applications. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
And just so you all know, we'll have to update our application in order to do that, and that'll come before you at some point too. Okay? All right, now we are on to the attorney report. So if you'll go back to the front of your iPad,
Back to the front.
back to the reports page.
Oh, I did. No.
Dinah's gonna have to take care of those.
Thank you.
Take me back.
Is this at the front of it?
Library.
Library.
Touch it and bring up library.
Let's see, library.
How do you get back on this?
Right.
You just,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna quit apologizing to her, I've done it. Ooh, gosh, come here.
Y'all too. Ms. Holly, and just to clarify, this isn't a new fee that we're implementing. It's just implementing it at the beginning of the application process as opposed to at the end.
Right, except they're not non-refundable if they...
Right, it's non-refundable, and it's at the beginning of the application process. The reciprocity application already has a $50 fee. It's just a change in implement at the beginning as opposed to, so we're not creating a new fee. We're just changing when we accept it.
But the ones that are not accepted, we're making some.
Right, we can't assess them paying that fee, so in order to do so, we are changing when we're accepting the fee. So just to clarify, that's what the board meant. It's not a new fee.
Yeah.
It's at a different time. Okay?
And you don't do that.
Right. Okay. We are now on the attorney reports. All right. We have one represented matter, case number 2012-008852-1. The above cited case was previously presented at the June 4th, 2012 meeting where the board authorized a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $500 civil penalty for operating a shop with an expired license. A consent order was sent, and later the respondent paid the civil penalty that was recommended by the board for settlement of the case, but the signed consent order was never received. Several attempts were made to contact the respondent requesting the signed consent order with no success. Board office records indicate the respondent shop is now closed. The recommendation is to close with no further action. The regular report starts with number 2, case number 2012-0.
Excuse me, just a minute, may I go back up?
Sure.
A consent order was sent, and later the respondent paid the civil penalty
Uh-huh.
by the board for settlement, but the signed consent order was never received.
Right.
What does that mean?
They didn't sign the settlement order, meaning
Send it back.
the board legal cannot close until the consent order is signed saying we're settled. But they paid the fee.
Okay.
Now that the shop is closed, we have to get the board's authority to close the case since they didn't sign the order closing the case.
Okay. See. I'm gonna know.
Okay, number 2, 2012-02275-1. A September 14th, 2012 notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed a cosmetologist, the owner and manager of the shop, blow-drying a client's hair when the shop license had expired on June 30th, 2012. Board office records indicate the shop license was renewed on October 3rd, 2012. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $500 civil penalty. Number 3, 2012-0227731, an August 31st, 2012 notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed a shop open for business prior to completion of a change of location, application, and inspection. Further, the inspector observed 3 stylists practicing on clients at the time of the inspection. Board office records indicate that the change of location application is still pending as of this date. Recommendation is to issue a cease and desist advisory notice with a request for the inspector to complete the change of location inspection within 10 days. Case number 2012-021321, a September 14th, 2012 notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed an individual using a drill to prepare for acrylic service on a customer with the wrong ID tag and another individual practicing without wearing an ID tag. The inspector also observed 5 dirty workstations and dirty drills and nail dusters, which were improperly stored. Further, the inspector observed a photocopy of a cosmetology license displayed in the shop. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $750 civil penalty. Case number 2012-021291. An August 29th consumer complaint brings to the board's attention a complaint that was filed against the respondent, a licensed cosmetologist, who allegedly has been convicted of several misdemeanors. The complaint was previously closed by the board. The complainant states that the respondent has again been arrested for several misdemeanors, each of which reflects poorly on her fitness to continue practicing cosmetology, and further submitted copies of the sheriff's office website showing their arrest dates. This complaint fails to provide sufficient proof of a violation of the Cosmetology Act. Recommendation is to close with no further action. Case number 2012-021241. An August 31st notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed an individual practicing cosmetology on a client in an unlicensed location. Board office records indicate that the application to license the shop was received on September 27, 2012 and is pending as of the date of this report. Recommendation is to issue a cease and desist advisory notice with the request for the inspector to complete the opening inspection within 10 days. Case number 2012-02131-1, a September 18th notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed 2 manicures working on customers without wearing ID tags in a licensed manicure shop, and a manicurist who had no license posted in the shop. The inspector also observed a hot wax machine with all tools necessary to perform waxing, dirty drill bits which were improperly stored, and dirty files and buffers in the shop. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $1,000 civil penalty. Case number 2012-02147-1. The September 24th consumer complaint alleges the complainant took her daughter to have highlights retouched at the respondent's shop. The complainant alleges that a licensee at the respondent's shop allowed the bleach to overlap and overprocess, and that her daughter told the licensee that the chemicals were burning her scalp. However, the licensee put her daughter under the hairdryer, which caused more burning. The complainant further alleges the licensee did not consult with her to correct the situation, but attempted to cover her mistake with black hair color. The complainant's daughter now has scalp burns, blisters, and dark yellow color on all the hair regrowth that was to be retouched. A response to the complaint received from the licensee who performed the service states that she accepted the service, and the complainant signed a permission slip noting the existing color in her daughter's hair may overlap to get the hair as light as the mother requested. Further, the licensee states she did fail and overprocess the complainant's daughter's hair. When she tried to fix the problem, another lady came back into the shop and noticed the problem. The complainant and another lady came back in the shop to notice the problem as well. The complainant became aggressive and insulting, and she asked them to speak with her manager in efforts to help. She states the daughter did not mention any scalp sensitivity. She's embarrassed and states this is not a common practice for her. She also gave them a free service in a bottle of Silver Shine shampoo and stated that this could be treated with a little more time and patience. The recommendation is to close with no action. Case number 2012-021281. On September 12, 2012, notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed an individual working on a customer without wearing an ID tag. When the inspector requested the individual provide proof of identity to determine her licensure status, the individual admitted she was unlicensed. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $500 civil penalty. Case
Wouldn't
number...
that be more? Working without a license?
That is up to you all.
They've had a
It's-
history. What does everybody think?
What was she doing? I mean, what kind of work was it? Does it say?
Well, she was working without a license.
Right. It isn't.
And that they also have a history of problems.
Yeah, I'm good with it being more, because that's just, you got public trust that you're going to somebody that's licensed, and you go to the shop, and somebody unlicensed doing that.
1,000, with,
She's doing a perm.
well, of course, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say make it 1,000.
1,000.
That's good.
Okay.
And she needs to go back and check and see
Right.
what she's done.
I mean, that's fraud, in a sense, that you're posing to be licensed person, and you're not.
Okay, well, up number 9 to a $1,000 civil penalty. Case number 2012-021411, a consumer complaint received from the Tennessee Department of Consumer Affairs on September 12, 2012 against the respondent shop alleges the complainant contracted a fungus after a nail service she received at the respondent shop. The complainant further states she suffers severe pain in her finger and may lose her nail according to her doctor. A response to the complaint received from the respondent shop states the complainant visited the shop for a nail service and a week later returned to get one acrylic nail removed prior to visiting a doctor to check on her nail. The respondent states the complainant came back again and stated the doctor's diagnosis report alleged to be a fungus. The respondent further states that he asked the complainant to review her doctor's report to assist with her with the medical expenses, but she was not cooperative to show him the report. Recommendation is to close with no action.
Excuse me.
Yes.
We'll go back to number 9. I just want to make a
Oh,
comment.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Something just bothered me. We don't, you don't see anything like about the shop or where it was or what. Was this a shop owner or an employee? I mean, somebody working in that shop or what? Because the salon owner could have gotten a violation also for working an unlicensed or letting an unlicensed person be on the floor.
Right.
You can't find an unlicensed person.
Right.
Well, that's what we just did.
No, we find the salon owner.
The salon.
I assumed it was.
Right, it is the salon.
Okay, well, it didn't say that. I'm
Right,
sorry,
you're right, it
see.
didn't say that.
It didn't say the
No, it
salon.
sure didn't.
It's talking, the violation alleges the area inspector observed an individual working on a customer without wearing an ID tag. When the inspector requested the individual provide proof of identity to determine her license stature, the individual admitted that she was unlicensed.
So you
Right.
can't find her, you have to find the owner.
Right, and I'm sorry, that's my mistake. I didn't put in a licensed shop.
Okay.
When I prepare this, the information isn't
Well, we didn't have that
redacted.
info, see, and I thought, well,
So I have to
that's
look
just
at
gonna
it
come back.
twice. My apologies.
Well,
It
that's
is a shop.
okay.
It's a shop.
But it is the shop.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Carl.
Well, okay. I wasn't
Sure,
satisfied with that.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 11, 2012-022781, an October 4th notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed a licensed master barber cutting hair and waxing eyebrows in a licensed cosmetology shop. Board office records indicate that the master barbers does not hold a valid board-issued cosmetology license. Further, the shop is not duly licensed. The recommendation is to issue a cease and desist advisory notice with a request for the inspector to follow up within 30 days. Case number 2012-02130-1. In August 30th, 2012, notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed an individual performing a pedicure on a customer without a valid board-issued license in a licensed manicure shop. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $250 civil penalty. Case number 2012-02234-1. On October 10th, 2012, consumer complaint alleges the complainant visited the respondent's shop for manicure and gel nails service, and during such service, the manicurist cut the complainant's cuticles, which resulted in bleeding and pain on several fingers. The complainant states the manicurist did have a sterile cuticle cutter, however alleges that other equipment used on her nails was unsterile. She further alleges that the polish on her nails was of poor quality. A response to the complaint was received from the owner of the respondent shop. The owner denies the complainant's allegations, stating that they always sterilize the cuticle cutters after each customer. The owner states that he talked to the complainant on the phone and asked the complainant to come in to remedy the problem, but she refused and requested a refund. Recommendation is to close with no further action. Case number 2012-021231. On August 23rd, notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed a workstation set up for an unlicensed individual in a licensed cosmetology shop. No services were being provided at the time of the inspection. According to the board office licensing records, the individual is now licensed. Recommendation is to close with a letter of warning. Case number 2012-021261. A September 12th notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed an unlicensed individual providing a manicuring service without wearing an identification tag in a licensed manicure shop. Further, the inspector also observed a hot wax machine with all the necessary tools to perform waxing services in the shop. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and a payment of a $500 civil penalty. Case number 2012-02142-1. A consumer complaint received on September 13, 2012 alleges the complainant and her sister visited the respondent shop for a pedicure and a manicure service and was dissatisfied with the service received at the respondent shop. The complainant states her sister was given a free design, however she did not receive what she requested, and further the employees at the shop were calling each other by numbers and not names, so she couldn't recognize who promised her the free design from who performed the manicure for her sister. Further, the complainant states the employee had asked to soak her nails in acetone for 30 minutes and promised her that it would make her nails stronger. However, the procedure took longer than 30 minutes and damaged her nails. A response to the complaint received from the owner of the respondent shop denies all the complainant's allegations, stating he would never guarantee her nails be stronger, and further that anyone who had acrylic nails would know when you take the acrylic off, the nails would have markings from the prior service. Further, the owner states the complainant wanted to soak the nails off, and he advised her to soak and leave them off so they could air out and recover from the acrylic nails, and also gave her an additional 5% discount to make her happy. Furthermore, the owner states the complainant called the shop and complained about her sister's design and requested a refund. However, he asked her to come back to the shop to get the design she wanted with no charge. Recommendation is to close with no action. Case number 2012-02140-1. The September 1st, 2012 consumer complaint alleges the complainant, who is also an instructor, was informed by a walk-in client that neither the respondent shop nor the lady cutting hair in the shop were licensed by the board. A response to the complaint sent from the owner of the respondent shop denies all the complainant's allegations, stating she is a licensed cosmetologist. She does maintain the proper licenses to operate the shop. Further, the respondent shop owner states that she has been harassed by the complainant and filed an order of protection against the complainant. The respondent shop owner attached pages of such order detailing the incidents between her and the complainant. Board office records indicate the respondent shop and the respondent shop owner, both in question, do have current board-issued licenses. Recommendation is to close with no further action. Case number 2012-02274-1. A September 12, 2012 notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed a washer and dryer which were visible to the public in a licensed cosmetology shop. The inspector also observed dirty floors, an unclean workstation, and an individual practicing in the shop without a valid board-issued license. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and a payment of a $500 civil penalty. Case number 2012-019671. On August 24, 2012, consumer complaint alleges the respondent is providing facial rejuvenation and acupuncture services without possessing a valid board-issued shop or esthetician license. The complainant further alleges there is a lack of sanitation at the salon. No response has been received as of the date of this report. Recommendation is to issue a cease and desist advisory notice with a request for the inspector to follow up in 30 days. Case number... Right. That's not something that the Board of Cosmetology regulates, but we do regulate facials, so she would need to be
Right,
licensed
facial.
esthetician. In order to determine if she's doing that, that's why we're issuing the letter with an inspector to follow up. Case number 2012-022771. On October 2nd, 2012, notice of violation alleges the area inspector found a ball of hot wax and 2 containers of wax with all tools necessary to perform waxing services in a licensed manicure shop. Further, the inspector observed 3 manicures practicing without wearing the proper ID tags. One of the manicures did not have her license posted in the shop. The inspector also observed dirty workstations with nail dusters, files, and buffers improperly stored. Several nippers were improperly stored, and all licenses were posted at the front wall of the shop. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $750 civil penalty. Case number 2012-022761. On September 19th, notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed 2 bottles of nail liquid, one of which contained MMA in a licensed manicure and skincare shop. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $500 civil penalty. Case number 2012-021271. On September 12th, 2012, notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed an unlicensed individual performing a pedicure on a customer in the shop. The inspector also observed 2 manicures practicing without ID tags, an expired license posted in the shop, and improperly stored drill bits. Further, the inspector observed an aesthetics 5-in-1 machine along with an aesthetics table and tubes of wax in this manicure shop. Recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $1,250 civil penalty. And that concludes the legal report.
Boy, they've been in trouble several times.
From 1997 to 2006.
Okay, and what's that total?
It's ridiculous.
Your total,
I'm sorry, what?
your total consent orders?
Oh, I don't, the consent order, we need a motion to approve the legal report with a change of number 9 to $1,000.
Oh, can we take a look at number 12?
Sure.
I usually get an motion for the amount of money. That's the reason I was asking.
I'm sorry, we were going to do that next.
Why is that just $250? You got another unlicensed person performing a pedicure. It's like me going to...
Right, it's up to you all. It's the
12.
first violation. They were licensed in 2011.
That's not enough to go to the shop, right?
Yes.
I'd say, well, it's their first violation, but I think that should be $500.
I do too.
Okay.
That's
12 to 500 and 9 to 1,000.
Do I hear a motion we accept with those 2 changes?
I so move.
Motion's made by Ms. Huckabee, seconded by Ms. Wormsley. We accept with the 2 changes in number 9 and number 12. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Wonderful. Now we have consent orders after the legal report totaling $8,750, and those are all included per violation on your iPad.
Okay, do I hear a motion we accept?
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Huckabee, seconded by Ms. Smith. We accept $8,700. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes carried.
Okay. Now, other business. I first wanted to, the Attorney General opinion that I sent you all is attached here, but first I wanted to give you an update on the inspector meeting. It was held this past Monday, and all the inspectors attended. We had solicited questions, comments, and any information they wanted presented from them all a few weeks in advance, and we got substantial feedback of questions they had regarding rules and laws and forms and so on and so forth, and they seemed very happy that we brought that to their attention. We also showed them the 2 forms that you all had approved, and they thought that those form changes were fantastic. We're still waiting on approval from General Services. We need to submit some paperwork for those to roll out and begin using them. But they were very happy with those. Overall, we thought the inspector meeting went well. They had some questions regarding how all the shops are going to get approved with the alignment of their inspection areas. And that is something that the administrative office is working on. We currently have some software that allows us to show how many shops are where. and it may be that we've realigned, because I don't think that the amount of shops per inspector were taken into consideration when the first realignment was done. I think it was just taken into consideration where they were located in the areas. But this mapping software is really going to help us find out which shops aren't being inspected annually in order to work with the inspectors on getting that completed. So each shop will be inspected annually.
Have we been having a problem with that?
I'm not completely sure. I do think that there's a rollover into the next year that a few shops aren't being inspected on an annual basis. I want to say it's more of a 15-month basis. But
Did you touch on any, like what we were saying a while ago, that they don't all have the same
we did.
understanding of or
We did.
interpretation of a
We didn't touch on the specific requirement in what was presented today, but we did touch on how one inspector could inspect a shop for the same thing that another inspector did on the other end of the state, and they had different grades, which, was something we addressed in the form revisions for the shops, giving them the scoring calculation, and they were all very happy with that, and they thought that their licensees would be very happy with seeing how their score was calculated, since there's really no way to add that up now. And I also got some clarification from them on Ms. Huckabee's request to take the scoring off the school inspection and how they did that. So I'm still working on that school inspection and leaving it the same and taking the scoring off and their viewpoint from how they inspected and what they looked at. So that was very helpful as well.
Did you go over that when they write up their violation reports, that they need to make clear that there was a violation?
We did. That was a substantial part of the day. We wrote up some example violations that they had written up. They passed them all out, and everybody had the same one, and then we'd have them vote on whether they thought it was an adequate violation or inadequate, and then we all discussed what was missing from each one. And actually, Laura, Betty, Kosam, and Mark, our litigation counsel, kind of acted as a panel for them to bounce questions off why this would be bad and why it would be good. And we threw some good ones in there to stump them. And they did a really good job. And we thought that the examples of what was the bad and what was good really helped them.
Good.
Any other questions about that? Okay. Well, I just wanted to give you all an update on that. Okay. The SR 94 Senate resolution meeting happened on the 15th of October. I am the board-appointed panel member for that. And this Attorney General opinion is something that I had sent out to you all for review. There's another study group meeting coming up on the 15th of November where I am still acting as your representative. The panel basically made the decision that we aren't determining who should regulate med spas, but just that they should be regulated, and we're trying to gather information from other states as to how med spas are regulated there, as well as what laws we do provide to the individuals who act in these. Meaning, there's a representative from the Board of Medical Examiners, a representative from the Board of Osteopathic Examiners, a representative from a couple of other boards. There's 5 of us total. And we all have brought to each other's attention, what we regulate in aesthetics and what the Board of Medical Examiners regulates as far as, using medical devices. And next month, or this month's meeting on the 15th, is we're going to discuss that as well as discuss this Attorney General opinion and go deeper into how it should be regulated. Any questions about that?
And then later it will be presented to the House?
I'm not exactly sure on how it's going to be presented. I know that we're going to continue to meet, and there will eventually be some proposal. At this point, we don't feel like we're educated enough on med spas in order to promulgate rules. The purpose of the panel is to promulgate rules. But at this point, not knowing who should regulate and in depth with what all they do, we're meeting a couple more times to determine that.
Because there's a bill, and
right.
So they'll just have to table it till...
Well, and I think that Senator Ramsey had asked that this panel be created in order to address these concerns. So I'm not sure, when session comes back in, what will come of it, hopefully something, and they'll take our work, to use. And, but this Attorney General opinion is a big topic because it does, it is a statement from the Attorney General determining whether a person who has an aesthetics license is exempt from our act, and then further if they don't have an aesthetics license. So I didn't know if y'all had any comments, questions, or concerns on this after y'all had had a chance to read it since it was sent
I
out.
have a couple, and I know
Okay.
I shouldn't, but I do.
Since these topics are kind of interrelated, that's why.
All right, the first, number one question
And
is,
this is on your iPad too, guys, if you need to look at the Attorney General's video. Oh, and you have a copy.
we have a copy.
Perfect.
We can do both ways here. Okay.
Yes, that
Is a person who has not had an esthetician license but is providing esthetician services in a medical spa or similar facility supervised by a licensed physician exempt from the Cosmetology Act? I have a question about the question.
Okay.
My question is, supervised by, they say that and they're 15 miles away.
Right.
Is there any way that that could be brought up to say, make that, they have to be on the premises? That's just something I wanted to bring up. And then I have one other thing on the next page. Certain persons and activities are exempt from the Act and thus do not need to obtain license from the board. For example, the practice of estheticians does not include any treatment or attempt to treat any abnormalities or disease-related conditions of the skin disease process, or aging process of the skin.
Where are you? I'm sorry.
The second page.
Okay.
Very top paragraph.
Oh, okay.
My question is, and maybe I'm playing on words, but they are exempt, they're exempt on aging process of the skin. Well, that's what an esthetician does, is helps the aging process of the skin. To me, that was confusing.
I think that this Attorney General opinion doesn't clarify everything we wanted it to clarify. I don't know that there's a way for us to get additional clarification. It could be that we could ask for additional clarification, but
That's what I'm saying. I may be asking a
right.
question.
No, I think that we asked some questions, and it most likely caused more questions, and they're answering.
But you being part of it now can maybe
Right, I can bring
enlighten them
these
more,
to,
because I'm
these
sure you're
issues
learning.
to the attention. Well, absolutely, I am learning so much, and I did not know how involved I would be in this panel, meaning how many questions I would get from the cosmetology field, law, so on and so forth. And so I really prepared, and I was glad that I really prepared because I had a whole lot of questions directed
I bet
at
you
me.
did.
And there were various individuals from the public who brought up their feelings on who should regulate it and who should not regulate it.
You mean it was open?
Oh, yes, this is an open meeting for any public member to come. There's a notice posted, and the next meeting is open on the 15th as well. Anybody can come. It's at the Health Board office. It's a public meeting.
Where is the health board office?
Right in Metro Center. I can get the exact location information for you. Actually, I may have it. But they
When you meet on the 15th, is there a place on the website or anywhere that we can see what?
We link, it's a post, it's a public notice post, like our agendas are from the health boards. But yes, it should already be posted.
Oh, I mean, can we see what transpired?
Yes, I think there's a video that you can watch if you'd like to see.
Okay.
Another thing, that last one down there, what is that doing in there? Any person who engaged in hair racket?
It's on page 2.
Oh, it is a exemption. No, it's in our exemptions. It's a newer exemption. It was, if I recall correctly, initially made for Dollywood.
Sure was.
It was so they could do those little hair wraps.
June was talking about something with Pigeon
She
Forge.
remembered Pigeon Forge and
Right.
Gatlinburg, so we
And
wanted.
right. It wasn't like hair braiding or anything. It's literally, you remember the little wraps they put under your hair that would have cloth around them almost and beads at the end? It was for those. And all
That's-
the tools they throw away, they're all disposable, and it's almost like a
What's-
stand, if I recall correctly. Is
It was a
that right?
fad, it's
Yeah,
gone.
Yeah,
Right.
it was something for
Her feather's gone.
Her feathers gone, so.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any more, Ms. Ballas?
Let me check.
Because those people, I mean, I'm just saying this, because we know, we respect our legislators and all of that, but to be able to come up or give an answer, or like the Attorney General, they're gonna have to do their homework on cosmetology, or they're gonna get messed up next time they go get a haircut, aren't they?
Right, and this is the Attorney General letting it, no, that's all
Well,
I
no,
have.
seriously, they got to know a little,
Okay, we will meet in December, the first Monday. Everybody drive careful going home. Do I hear a motion, we adjourn?
I make it.
All right. Motion made by Mr. Herford, we adjourn, seconded by Ms. Smith. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes carried. Adjourned. Enjoyable meeting.